Dope.
What's up, everybody? This is Podcast Gameoverse episode 133 for Saturday, February 11, 2023. I am Wasabi Ice Cream, joined as always, my dude Rick. What's up?
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the Gameoverse podcast. I'm excited. Well, a lot has happened in the last 2 weeks since we did our show. Oh my god. It's been a while since we did the show last, but a lot has happened. I can't wait to talk about Nintendo just had a huge direct with a bunch of really cool announcements I'm excited to talk about. But first,
Yeah.
man, let's start where we always start. Steam just had their Next Fest, and we
Yeah.
ran a demo derby on it. Well, tell us what you played, man. What are some standouts?
So I played a bunch of stuff. I did a whole
Yeah.
12 hours of just fucking straight up just games, man. And yeah, there was just a bunch of most of the stuff that I played was actually pretty good.
That's good.
But there were a couple games that did stand out from the rest for me.
Okay.
And let's see, I got a couple of them down here. One, Radio the Universe. So most of these games I hadn't heard of, but some of them have been in development for a very long time, and I guess this one was in development for like a decade on Kickstarter.
Ooh.
And so people had thought it was just dead until it had just randomly shown up in this demo Next Fest.
Okay.
And no one knew it was coming. No one knew it was here. It was just like, wow, dude, I can't believe we're finally hearing about this after 10 years. And I had no idea until I looked at the comments on it. And it's really fucking cool though. It's
Okay. What is it?
hard to explain what it is actually. It's like
Looks like, from what I'm seeing in the gameplay, looks like a Zelda like.
it's okay, yeah, it's kind of like a Zelda like, but you're like a robot girl, and it's like a Zelda like mixed with Dark Souls almost, where you have very low health. So and your movement options aren't tight, like the controls aren't very tight. It's kind of floaty a little bit.
Yeah.
So you get like a melee attack that takes a while. It takes like a second for it to come out. You get like a dash move, and you can
Yeah.
sprint. And then you get a gun where the ammo takes a while to it's on like a cooldown. Like you get a certain amount of ammo, and once you run out, the reload is it takes like 5 seconds to reload. Um, but it's like super. It's hard to explain it though. It's hard to explain it without actually playing it. But it's very Souls like, but without um, but it feels like a Zelda almost. But neither of those things. There's a lot of platforming, some light puzzle solving, and then just combat, very punishing combat. Uh, and then it's got upgrade mechanics to where you can kind of there's like an upgrade tree, and you can kind of pick and choose where you want to put stuff. And all the health upgrades are the one you look at and you're like, oh man, instead of taking one hit, I can take 2 hits, type of shit. It's it was really cool. I would find
Good.
it in this gameplay. Here it is. So yeah, so I was playing and then I got to a boss fight, and it took me fucking the demos I played during this derby. I spent more time with them than I usually do. I finished most of the demos that I played, so I didn't check out. Usually I just give it 5 minutes and move on, but I tried to finish all of them I played. So this one I gave an hour, and I'm showing some footage in the stream right now. We're doing this live. You go to gameverse.com/Twitch. You can see I'm showing some gameplay right now of this game, and this boss fight took me 45 minutes.
Oh Jesus.
Because he hits you once and you're fucking dead. And I kept getting him down to one more hit, and he just kept getting me. And so yeah, I was like, but I kept getting closer and closer. And it was just so fucking hard, man. Um, but it
It
was
looks
so
like
fun.
fun. Like you said, it's floaty. It looks floaty, but like it
Yeah,
looks like there's some tightness to it too. Like
it's
despite how
tight.
floaty the movement is, like
Yeah, you can like because you can attack and then like dodge, cancel out of your attacks and stuff. Clay's in the chat.
ooh,
What's up, Clay?
what up, Clay?
Um, and then another mechanic this thing had, which I didn't completely understand, is to get experience points. It said this thing where so you can see every enemy has like it shows how many hit points they have left,
Yeah.
and you do a certain. It shows you how much damage you do, and to get experience points from your kills, you have to do exactly 0 points. You have to kill them with exactly 0 health. You can't like overkill. So say if they have like 3 hit points, you do 4 damage, you don't get experience from that. And
What?
yeah, it was very confusing when they explained it because well,
Why?
the way they explained it was you only get experience if you do 0 when enemies have 0 health or some shit like that. So I don't even know what that mean. Like, do I have to get them to 0 and then kill them, or do I have to kill them with the exact amount of health they have? And I think it's the exact amount of health. I still don't really know. Uh,
Ooh, that's annoying. That's not even fun. It sounds annoying as fuck.
I mean, well, you end up kind of just doing it without thinking. I mean, it's not like you're like trying to farm experience. You can like just break boxes and get experience points, or open
Yeah.
chests and you get experience. So it's not even something you're thinking about. But when it came up, I was like, that's crazy. Like that's insane. So, um, yeah, it's a very interesting game. The art style is really cool. Again, that's called Radio the Universe. I think the next fest is still going on. So, uh, if you're still looking for stuff to try out, yeah, try that one out definitely because it's really cool. Um, and then another one I tried was called Super 56. Now this game,
Yeah, I was seeing this one. It looks really cool.
it's a if you
WarioWare?
remember, it's a WarioWare, but it's more like if you ever played Work Time Fun on PSP. It's
Never
more
heard of that.
Work Time Fun, or as it was also called WTF. It's closer to that than a WarioWare. One of the things this game does specifically is it's literally just one button throughout the entire game. Even in the menus, it's just one button. So you hit the A button to um, scroll through the menu, and then you hold the A button to select your option.
Okay.
And then that every game is played that same way. So it's a collection of mini games, 56 of them, and the whole premise is that you're like a human who's on an exchange program in hell, and you're like rooming with these two guys, and they can't play the game that they have. So you, being a human with fingers, they say, "Oh, you can finally beat this game that we can't play because we don't have hands." And yeah, so it's just a bunch of mini games. There's 56 of them, but I think there's only like 10 or so in the demo, and it's fucking difficult. It's
Yeah.
like the cool thing it does is it has leaderboards. So what you do is you customize the way your like character is presented, but you're only like presented like a Street Fighter like tagline and like logo and shit. You know how like Street Fighter does the fucking like here's your portrait and your tagline and
Yeah.
your stats. Like that's all you get. So, but so you see other players like that, and you can mix and match different messages, and that's how you like say stuff. But so every mini game has a leaderboard on it to show who's like the best at the mini game. And the fucking mini games are like some of them are pretty easy, but some of them are like very difficult. And it does do the WarioWare thing of Like this thing starts and you don't know what the fuck to do other than you only have one button, so there's no movement. There's no, I mean, there might be movement, but you move with the one button or like variations of the one button, either like
That
tapping it
sounds
or.
like a trip. That sounds like it could be awesome or like terrible.
It's it's great. It's fantastic. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. Uh, yeah, and then so you don't like in WarioWare, you get like one attempt to do the thing, but in this, it's just a timer. So whatever the mini game has, like be it like 30 seconds, you get 30 seconds to do the entire thing. It never like kicks you out if you die or something. Um, and yeah, it's cool. And the whole thing is it's like you there's like loot boxes, but they're not really loot boxes. It's just um they're they're the loot box thing, but inside of you get them by like leveling up just by playing the mini games. You get points and you level up, and then you get a loot box at the end, and then you get random character customization stuff to put in your portrait.
Okay.
So
That's cool.
yeah,
All right.
and
Sounds
it's
like fun. Like it sounds dope. Like I
yeah,
saw it and I was like, it's a WarioWare, but
yeah. I thought it was a
it sounds
Rhythm
like there's more
Heaven.
depth to it than like a regular WarioWare game. Oh
Yeah,
shit, yeah. It could be that. It looks like that too.
I thought it was gonna be more rhythm involved, but it's not. So, but it's really cool. It's really cool. So
It's,
definitely
it's
check
cool.
that
I
out.
like that. Literally all the games that you're showing off, I've never heard of before. So this is cool.
Yeah, that's why that's why I like to do the Next Fest stuff, because it's all stuff that I had no idea was ever coming, and it's stuff that is now definitely on my wish list. So, Clay, do you wanna jump in the voice, or because we can get you in here if you want. Let's see. Also checked out another game called Bionic Bay. Now, this one is really difficult to explain, but I'll try. It's like a platformer, but
Bionic Bay. That one looks really cool.
visually,
Yo,
it's
am I back?
incredible. Well, it's yeah, it's incredible in like every way. But visually, I think the visuals are the most striking thing about it. Um,
I was gone for like a sec. I think my shit froze up. But we're
oh,
talking about Bionic Bay right now.
yeah, yeah. So,
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm
um,
watching the gameplay videos of it, and this looks like crazy.
it's like, what if Limbo was like super zoomed out and it was more physics based, physics and like fluid physics.
It
So
looks like Limbo mixed with like Super Meat Boy.
yeah, yeah, it's basically that, but physics, like physics through the roof. So like, there's a lot of fluid physics. There's a lot of just like gravity physics.
I like that.
Like all kinds of stuff. So, and
I like
then
games that just make physics like part of the platforming, like the
yeah,
way you
yeah,
fall, the way you like bounce off of stuff, and
yeah,
no,
and
it's not like a how can I word it? It's not like a totally like reactionary movement, because Mario has physics, but it's not like physics based.
yeah, it's like
It's not really
character.
physics
Like your
based
character
platforming.
has physics, and like that's basically
Yeah,
it. And it's like this is how your character controls the
yeah,
environment, and then they might like add ice to it or like wind.
yeah.
But
I like that. I like platformers where like physics is like a part of the platforming.
yeah, because like in a game like Mario, it's very predictable. But in this,
Yeah,
everything moves, so everything has its own physics, and that is very unpredictable when it comes to solving the puzzles,
I
which
like that.
can be frustrating, but it can also be just like amusing because
Yeah, and it
you'll
looks
like
amusing from what I'm seeing here so
yeah,
far.
yeah, you'll like flop around in these puzzles, and like most of the time I'm laughing my ass off because it was just funny the way my character flopped around and exploded, and it's very good with the checkpoints. You never too far off from where you fucked up, so it's just it throws you right back where you like last jumped from. So
Yeah,
it's like very cool. It's very hard
I
to
like that.
explain though.
No, it
Um,
looks cool. Like I'm watching the gameplay videos of it, and this looks really fun. Like I would have some fun with this.
yeah, it's very fun. Like it was, again, like I spent like another hour just playing this alone until I got to the end, and I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
You
That's
get
on my
like
wish list now for sure.
one of the big mechanics is like this like swap mechanic. So you slap something, and then at any point you can hit the bumper, and you swap places with it.
Yeah, I
And
was seeing that too.
yeah, and whatever you were, however you were moving at that time gets conserved and continues when you're swapping too. So, um, it's like it's very cool. So
Yeah, it looks super cool. Like, there's a lot of really cool shit that I'm seeing here
yeah,
that I like really, really like.
yeah.
Like this looks fun. That's all I can say. It looks fun as fuck.
So that's Bionic Bay. Bionic Bay. Um, and then this last one, it's really cool. It's cooler in concept. Well, I don't want to say it's cooler in concept. The entire thing is cool, but let's see. It's called Shadows of Doubt, and it is a procedurally generated detective uh sandbox simulation uh uh that's what it is. A procedurally generated city with a procedurally generated crime with procedurally generated people who all have lifestyles, and you're a detective, and everything's randomly generated. Just imagine like Minecraft, but there's a detective sim going on. Let me get Clay in here.
See, this is cool because I'm seeing the immersive sim tag in here.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if it's like procedurally generated immersive sim, I'm like, ooh, that sounds awesome.
Let me see if did that you still in here? Okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, this looks cool as fuck, dude. Like I said, I saw the immersive sim tag and I'm like, oh, okay, that's enough to pique my interest at least.
Wait, I think I have to do another thing here. There it is.
Yo.
Okay. Yeah, it's like it's an immersive sim, but it's more than you expect. It's more than because the simulation that's happening is like extremely detailed to the point where like it was raining in the city and I walked outside and I got wet, and then I was outside too long and I was cold and I was shivering and I was sneezing, and then so I was trying to sneak around in these like air ducts, and my character was sneezing, and I was getting caught because I kept sneezing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like some people think that's annoying, but I love when games have like a bunch of little mechanics that like work with each other
Yeah.
and affect each other. That's why I like Breath of the Wild so much because
Uh,
like wish like that happened.
you sneeze, and the dude's like, "What's that sound?"
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
here,
yeah.
here we go.
And yeah, it
I
was
love that.
Metal Gear
was-
Solid 2, man. When you're on the tanker and you sneeze,
Oh,
and the
yeah,
dude's like
yeah,
right there. By the way, what up,
Yeah.
y'all? How you doing?
What's up?
Yo,
What's up?
Clay. Long time, man.
I know, man. It's like I just woke up, man, because you know I'm Pacific time, and I was like 8 in the morning, and they're streaming. God, this is too much.
I'm in Arizona, so it's mountain time. So it's only like about an hour ahead of you, I think. At least
Yeah,
for now.
yeah.
Once daylight savings time hits, like I think I'll be up with you guys or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, no, you'll
dude.
be
Yeah,
farther behind. I think yeah, you'll be farther behind. I think Wasabi will be like behind me.
I don't even know.
Yeah, it's annoying. Daylight saving time should be like just eliminated. We should stop doing that. It's a waste of time.
It
Abolish.
is. It is ridiculous. Just pick something
Yeah.
and stick with it.
Yeah, I agree.
I am way too lazy to be changing clocks, man. Come on.
Same.
And a lot of
So tell me
plots.
more about the Shadows of Time game, like or Shadows of Doubt, because so what is there like a lot of combat in it, or is it more just like sneaking around detective stuff?
No, there's combat. Like I couldn't figure it out though, but there's definitely combat. Like at some point. Okay, so here's how it
Okay.
starts. Is you start waking up in your apartment, and I guess you log into your computer, and it's like, hey, I got this case for you or something.
Yeah.
And again, it's randomly generated, so it could be anything or anyone, anywhere in the game. So the whole point is to like figure out who this person is, where, how to find them, talk to people, like interview them. You can you can get their fingerprints. You get handcuffs. You can arrest people. Uh, so you can do whatever you got to do to get. There's a phone book with everyone's name listed in it. There's businesses that you can ask and question. Full on detective sim. But then also there's just a bunch of other stuff going on. So when I found out like the person's name, I looked them up in the phone book, and their address is in there. And then you can pin all your information to like this board, and then you can do the whole like CSI fucking drawing webs and linking things to be like, okay, this is how this is linked, and these are together and stuff like that. You can organize all your information like that.
That's cool.
I don't know about you guys. Like, I love a good detective game, and I am horrible at them.
Same.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I found out the apartment this guy lived in, and I walked in there, and um, there was just a random woman walking around. So I was like, "Hey, do you know this guy?" And she was like, "I don't talk to cops," or something like that. She was a very like rude lady, wouldn't give me any information. So I was like, "Okay, I know where this guy lives anyway." It was break in and fucking. But then like the whole apartment has like machine gun turrets just like posted up. Like I guess if
Oh
anyone. So
Jesus.
I was like, okay, I can't do anything too bad because these things are gonna turn on and light me up. So I was like, I noticed there were like air ducts. So I broke into the air duct and started crawling around, but it was hard to navigate. So I was like, but I had a little like objective marker on the over on like the map or whatever on the UI, so I can kind of like navigate and get close to that marker. And I got close to it and broke into some house that I thought was the guy, and they were talking. They were talking like they were up to something. So I was like, oh, this must be the guy. And they were talking about, anyway, here's the plan. We're gonna go to Fazoli's, and Joey's got a thing going on, and he's gonna drop the thing in the trash can, and I'm gonna go pick it up at this time. And I was like,
I gotta
oh, yeah,
ask,
yeah.
was this like fully voice acted, or was
No,
it
there was
like
no voice acting. It was just like popping
okay?
up in the world. It was just popping up as like an overlay, like they were
Okay, that's
talking.
cool.
And I was like, why isn't my character writing any of this down? This is good information. And I was the whole time I was staying hidden in like their like closet, like as I was listening to this conversation. And then I think my character sneezed, and they were like, "What the fuck was that?" And then
That
they
is so
caught me,
cool.
and then they were like, door was locked because I had broken in through the air duct. And then I tried to like I couldn't reach it. Once I jumped in there, it was too high to actually reach and like leave again. So I was like, oh shit. So I like broke into their bedroom, stole a step ladder, and tried to like climb out. But when I dropped it on the floor, it made noise again, and they caught me. And I started fighting them. Like this whole thing happened, and it was the wrong house. Like I wasn't even in the right
Oh
house.
my god.
So like I couldn't figure out how to like punch or anything. So I was like, oh fuck, let me like. So I threw the step ladder at them and knocked them out. And then they had a gun in their house, so I was like, oh shit, they got a gun. And I picked it up. I couldn't figure out how to use it, so I threw the gun at them. And then they ended up killing it because they kept waking back up. Like I knocked them out for like a couple seconds every time, but they kept waking back up, and then they eventually killed me.
You're in the wrong house. These two shady dudes are like planning their kid's birthday party or something.
Yeah, but like I love games like that that just kind of just unfold like this, and you have your own like story you can tell that was just crazy and fucked up. It was awesome. So
Love that. I love that. That sounds fucking awesome, dude.
But the only issue with the game is that the performance was god awful. God
Yeah,
awful. It just ran horribly. So it
I'm
was
sure there's
still,
a lot of stuff going on like under the hood from what you're describing here, but
yeah, even that, it's
yeah,
still early, so I'm sure they have some optimizations to make on it. So,
yeah,
but yeah, other than that, man, it was like really really cool. So it's definitely in my radar.
that is cool as fuck. I'm into it, dude. Like I really
Yeah,
want to pick this up now, or at least
yeah.
check it out. The demo should still be up, right?
I think all the demos are still up. I don't know when the next fest is over, but I think it is still going right now.
Ooh, I gotta try it now.
Yeah,
I'm
that
into
one's
it, dude.
called Shadows of Doubt. Shadows of Doubt. So
That's really cool. I gotta pick it up now. I really want to pick it up now. Was there anything else you're playing? There's what's this one? Rhythm Sprout?
Rhythm Sprout. I think we were talking about it like a week or two ago. In the new releases, it's a rhythm game, and yeah, I played a little bit of it, and it's really cool. It does more. It's more than I thought it would be. It's like a straight up
Yeah.
like adventure game where the entire adventure is just in rhythm. So it's a 3 button game. It's just left, right, and like center, or I guess it's like left, right, and like what they consider like a dodge button. And so
Is it
the entire
like when you say that? Like when you say that, is it like just ASD or something like that,
um
or the arrow
ASD,
keys or something, or
I guess, yeah, it would be, well, I was using a controller, so it was like
right?
left, it was like anything on the left pad, any face button, and then either any trigger would be like left, right, and then center.
Okay.
But the way it works is like you're a little like rhythm like onion knight, and like everything in the world is like food related. So like you're like a part of the vegetable kingdom, and you are like an onion knight, and you're the sweets, the sugar kingdom is invading. So it's like the vegetables versus the sugar.
All
um
right.
yeah. And yeah, the whole thing is just like an adventure. It's basically like you're walking down a path and you're hitting like left and right into the beat, and then you'll run into a combat scenario, and then in combat you're like attacking with like left and right, and then you're dodging with the like the dodge button. It's really cool, and it's all like seamless too. So it'll just like I think it's dynamic because sometimes it's like in step with the music, but you'll see notes coming that change depending on what's happening in the adventure. So if like a character starts to attack, your dodge stuff comes up. Like it doesn't seem like it's like predetermined stuff, but
Okay.
it's really cool. It's really cool. So
Oh yeah. So now that you have the video up, it's I mean essentially it's like just DDR but with like a story.
yeah, 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 basically. But
It's
yeah,
like that's cool.
Yeah. No, dude, like who doesn't love DDR? That's cool. Like, again.
yeah, I like rhythm games. This is a pretty cool twist on the rhythm game thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, I like it. Yeah,
It's good. It sounds like fun. Like that's the cool thing about this like Steam Next Fest that they show off all these cool games you would have like never heard of. Like I haven't heard of any of these games
yeah,
except for Rhythm Sprout. I do remember talking about that one.
yeah. Rhythm Sprout wasn't part of the Next Fest. That was just that actually just came out. So you know what? I do want to talk about one more game that was
Oh,
in
yeah.
this Next Fest. It was the only bad game that was in the Next Fest.
Okay.
Called, I think it was Perseus. It was a Diablo game. What the fuck is
Okay.
it called? Perseus.
It,
Perseus Titan Slayer.
I was just gonna say, is this like a rip off of like Hades or something with
No.
Perseus as the main star or something?
No. It's a Diablo, but it's
Yeah.
bad. It is bad, dude. It's so bad.
Yeah,
It doesn't look as bad as it is, but I'm
it was
telling you.
popping up in like my recommendations, but
Yeah, no, this game comes out in like 2 days. I was like, they got a lot of work to do on this game, but I mean, it's just a demo, so I'm sure they'll polish it up. No, it's coming out in like 2 days, dude. Like, it's not.
Oh, dude, look at the menu bar. That's totally like a just Diablo right there.
Yeah. Uh, it's bad. It's
it
bad.
looks decent. What's wrong with it?
No, it looks decent, but it doesn't. uh, it's like I'm almost certain this is like a port of a mobile game, and
Yeah.
even then, it's not even because like I think Undecember is on mobile too, but that game was
Yeah, that
like
game's dope.
when I played that demo, I was like, holy shit, this is great. This was like on my radar because it was a Diablo, and I was like, oh yeah, finally I get to play this demo. And it's trash, dude. I can't even explain how bad it is without like you just have to play it and you'll instantly see it just has a bunch of like stock assets, like some of the menus are just like not like some of the font work is just not good and the menus are not
Yeah.
good and the controls are not good. The enemies are not good. It doesn't feel good. But like it's hard to explain how not good it is until you play it and you're like, this ain't. All right, yeah, I'm almost certain it's like a free to play mobile game, dude. It's the way it's like it has that progression system where it's like it has those like branching paths, and you choose a path, and I was like, oh, this one's got 12 enemies, or they're all badass enemies though, or they're all elites, and oh, you're gonna get some health in this if you take this path, and it's just small arenas of Diablo like content,
Oh,
but
okay.
you're like an arena, so you choose a thing on this branching path, and you get an arena with maybe like 50 guys in it, and then you kill those guys, and you get a chest, and it's like, oh yeah, you got health items, and then you choose like the next arena on this branching path of tiles, and you go in there, and there's like another 20 enemies in this arena. It's bad. It's bad. It's not good. It's not good.
That sucks. It looks like fun. That's the first part. Like,
Yeah, that's why I played it, and you find out, oh, this is not. This ain't. Yeah, this ain't good. So yeah, I played it in the Next Fest. I don't I don't totally remember the specifics on how it was bad. I just remember loading it up and being like, this is not what I thought this was. So
and
I
that's a
st-
bummer.
yeah, I was
That's
excited
just
for
it's
it.
like it looks like fun. That kind of bums me out a little bit because it looks like a lot of fun actually. Man, well that sucks.
That was the only bad game I played.
Yeah. Well, it's good that your experience was like mostly good for the most part.
Yeah,
Like it's good that your experience was mostly good except for like that one game.
yeah, but
Any other highlights you want to talk about? Anything else that was like just fucking amazing or fucking terrible?
no, that was mostly it. Yeah, I mean, I played a bunch of games in the Next Fest. You can check it. It's on the YouTube gameoverse.com/YouTube. Yeah, there was nothing else that was super stand out. I played that Lana, World of Lana. It's the one that Microsoft keeps showing off. It's like the Limbo. Um, that
With
one was
Lana?
yeah. Here, I got it up in
Planet of Lana?
Planet of Lana. Yeah. Um, it's like
Oh yeah, I have seen
it's
this.
a Limbo type game that Microsoft keeps showing off at their like indie stuff.
Yeah, I have.
Oh,
That was
this
that
one. Okay, I remember now. Like whenever you said limbo type thing, I was like, I thought Somerville was that game, but no, that's already out.
Yeah, yeah. No, they've been showing this one too.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
the demo's good, but it doesn't get to the stuff that it's more like the tutorial stuff. Like it doesn't get to the interesting bits that they show in that in the
Yeah.
that they've been showing in all the footage. So, um, like I'm still interested in it, but I'm hoping that I don't have to. I'm hoping that this save carries over to the final game, so I don't have to do this tutorial stuff anymore. Because the tutorial is kind of boring, but
Yeah.
uh, I know it gets more exciting later on from what they've shown. So
Yeah. This looks good. That one's been on my radar for a little while.
yeah,
Before I hop into my show, what about you, Clay? Is there anything you want to talk about, man? Anything you've been playing?
I'm. Let's see. The quick rundown is I'm still playing Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
I am once again going through Grand Theft Auto Vice City because it's one of the greatest games ever made.
You playing the
And
original or like that remastered?
I'm playing the PS4 Definitive Edition currently.
Okay.
Look, so many people hate on those games, and it's like, yes, they are a broken mess. I get it.
But
The originals are also broken messes.
I think the problem with these remakes or remasters is that like they're more broken than the originals, right?
Oh no, I get it. I'm just saying, like I've been a fan of these games since they came out. You know, like GTA 2000 or GTA 3 was 2001, right? So like they were messy even back then. I think people kind of forget about that. But the definitive editions, man, the improvements they put into it, I think are amazing.
Okay,
And
so that's a take I haven't heard yet. So you think the quality of life changes they made for these kind of supersede some of the other like graphical issues that they've been having?
the best thing I can say about them, and again, unless you play these on the PS2, PS3, or even the originals on the PS4 when they had that trilogy also. I'm not a PC gamer, right? So like I play controller for everything. On GTA 3 and Vice City on controller, your right stick does not control the camera. You literally just run with the left stick and the camera just kind of follows you.
yeah.
So having a right stick camera for 3 and Vice City is like, that's all I needed. Like that is literally the only change they had to make. But that was good. It does look better. Yeah, I know there are still graphical bugs and stuff like that. It looks fine. The soundtracks are still amazing. All the major stuff like the rain, they fixed that, right? Like the bridges that disappear, they fixed that. Everything else is just like random bug crap that I don't care about. But I hadn't played Vice City since last 2001 when the Definitive Edition came out. So I was like, all right, I'll go through it again. Yeah. And Sony gave the Vice City Definitive Edition for like PS Plus. So I was like, all right, I'll just I already have it on there. Let me play it.
Okay, that's good. Well, I'm glad you're having fun with it then, because that's everyone talks about like the graphical issues with it, which I get it. It's something to talk about, but like, what does it do right on top of it? Like, I doubt it's just nothing but terrible the way everyone makes it sound like it is.
They're totally like, I played it when it first launched, like before the rain patch, to where when it rained, you just couldn't see anything. It was like, it was just white screen. It was crazy. I'm glad that they have improved it. There's a guy that I hang out with, and he was like, they shouldn't be calling it the Definitive Edition. And I totally agree with that, because it's not definitive. It's not perfect. It's just, it still has problems even now.
Yeah.
But it's like, I could play the old ones. I have them. Like, I have multiple copies of these games, so it's like, I could always play that. But hey, this is already here. I have it on Xbox, PS5, and Switch. It's like, I can just play it right here, and it's going to look better. And I now have a right stick camera for 2 of the 3 games.
That's the thing that's got me excited, because like I never grew up with the Grand Theft Auto games, so I never played the older ones. And looking at them, I'm like, I don't want to go back to that. That's like that old school before we figured out like 3D cameras.
Right. Yeah. San Andreas was the first one that came out in 2004. That was the first one that actually has a right stick camera on it. If you play the PC versions, you were fine. Like the mouse controls the camera in all the games. But it was just like, now that I have that, I was like, yeah, I love the originals. I actually still have Vice City, the original PS2 version, on my PS5 right now, just so I can show people like the differences, like when they see it. But no, it's mostly just a lot of people hating on the game. Yeah. And they're like, oh, this thing is not spelled right, or it's just a port of a mobile game. And it's like, it kind of is, actually. Like, if you know the history of how this definitive edition thing was made, it's essentially a port of the like iOS Android games.
Well, what everyone's told me, the iOS Android games are like, if you want to be technical, are like a better version of the PS2 games.
They were actually, yeah. So like they had already kind of upscaled everything. Like they made it a cleaner looking game. They made it like the widescreen work, because PS2 game it's 4:3. Yeah. So it's like they did fix a lot of stuff for the mobile games. Then they took that, ported it over, and then added they added a Unreal 4 like physics layer on top of it. So because the original engine that runs these games doesn't work on like modern consoles, so it's like it looks better. I still love these games. I think they're a ton of fun. They're some of my favorite games ever. So I was like, yeah, I'll play Vice City again. I love this game. So I'm playing that, playing Overwatch 2. I'm about a couple levels into Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh, I want to play that for a while. How was that one?
It's pretty fun. I'll say that the writing is decent. Like, it has like some humor to it. It's since both of you mentioned while you were watching that what Onion Rhythm, whatever it was, it is a rhythm action game. So if you play like Necrodancer or like Metal Hellsinger, which I know you both have, you attack on the beat. But it's played like a third person like beat 'em up type game. Yeah, like a Devil May Cry with like rhythm action to it.
Which I 100% can get on board with. That sounds awesome to me.
Yeah, and last I checked, it is on Game Pass.
Yes.
So you should be able to just check that out. Yeah. But yeah, it's I'm like 3 or 4 levels into that, so it's pretty fun so far.
It's on my list for sure. I've wanted to find an excuse to play it, just with the baby. I haven't had time to like sit.
Oh no, I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, so like in the video here, the little cat head that like floats above you is your beat. Or you can even just turn on like the Metal Hellsinger Necrodancer type, like at the bottom where like the dots come into the middle of the screen. But yeah, and then there's stuff like this. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun.
I've been seeing clips of it online. The game is like hilarious. Like legit, the humor is really good.
The humor it's like I said, it's really good, and I totally appreciate that because I love comedy in just about everything. Like I get really bored with like drama. So it's like, so having this be like funny at the same time, I'm like, okay, I'm playing this. This is good.
I need to play it. I have Game Pass, so I just got to like buckle down and just play it. It'll happen eventually, one day.
I heard there was a Evil Within 3 teaser Easter egg in this somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Oh, if there is, I haven't seen it yet. I might not be that far into it yet. That's cool, then. I mean, it is Tango, and as long as they never go back to Ghostwire Tokyo, then I'm happy.
I like that whenever they talk about this game, they always say, from the makers of Evil Within, like they did not
Ghostwire Tokyo. Yeah. Well, what's funny with this is like when I saw this, I was like, this is like a Devil May Cry game. And then a buddy of mine pointed out, like, well, Tango are a lot of ex-Capcom devs that like follow Shinji Mikami.
Yeah.
So it's totally possible. Like a lot of the devs here at Tango probably worked in Devil May Cry too.
Could be.
Yeah. So that's probably one of the reasons why it's like it feels so much like it. Yeah. And after I thought of that, I was like, okay, I really got to play this game now because I fucking love using Devil May Cry. And to put a rhythm game on top of that just sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, so I mean, I'd be down for Evil Within 3. It's again, I'm a total wuss at horror games, so I watch a buddy of mine play them. But 2 was actually pretty good. So like one was just one was a very visually pretty game, but the story was just way too much.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
someone who played one never finished it. It very much like it's kind of up its own ass with the story. And it thinks it's a lot more clever than it really is, but it's not. It's kind of confusing and obtuse.
It's way too confusing. The story's all over the place, but when you play 2, it relies heavily on one story. So you kind of have to have an understanding of what's happening.
Yeah, I enjoy 2.
2 was awesome.
I enjoy 2 without. I hated that first game, but 2 was like way in terms of gameplay. It was way better than that first one.
Yeah,
I didn't care about the story at all. I just enjoyed playing it.
Yeah, but yeah, so if 3 comes out, then I'd be totally down to watch that. And did you all check out Ghostwire Tokyo?
I didn't. Actually, I bought it for like $12.
That game sucks.
I think I got it for like $12 or something.
It is a Ubisoft like open world map full of garbage, boring game.
Yeah. Can we stop with that already? Like, not every open world. Well, first, not every game needs to be open world. First off, second, if it's open world, fill it with more interesting shit than just like.
Dude, I was just talking about that the other day. I was like, okay, can we just leave open world for the people who can do it well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, there are too many games out there that are like, why is this game 30 hours open world when it could be like a linear, like this, like a linear level based game and be like 10 hours long? That'd be fantastic.
Or do something in the middle, like I don't know if you played Bayonetta 3 or Last of Us 2, where it's a level based game, but the individual levels are like crafted to be kind of more open and less linear. Like something like that I'd be okay with.
I have not played Last of Us 2. I did not like the first one, so I didn't play 2.
Well, to be honest, you don't like the first one, you're not gonna like the second one. It doesn't really be too different.
That's what I've been told.
What it does do that's really cool is while it's a linear level based game, some of the levels are very open-ended levels. So there's stuff you can play around in, stuff to explore and find. So you get that like sense of exploration you get from an open world game without like some of the baggage from modern open world games. So,
I got you.
Something like that, I would love to see more games take on. Bayonetta 3 did something like that too that I really liked. And yeah, I would love to see more games do stuff like that instead of just like relying on this like shitty formula, the shitty Ubisoft formula we have now.
Yeah, that's what Ghostwire Tokyo is. It is just awful.
I think I'll see what I talked about before I get into my shit.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so I played a few games, nothing new. So Samurai Showdown Collection was on sale on Switch a while back. Picked that up. I love me some Samurai Showdown, so that was fun to play some of those older games. Still playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3. That's fucking phenomenal.
That's what I hear.
It's incredible, dude. The story alone is like worth the cost of entry, but the gameplay is great too. It's the same Xenoblade gameplay combat that you're used to, but it has like a job system. So
now so one was a Wii U game, right?
One was a Wii game originally.
It was a Wii game. So did that ever get ported up to the Switch?
Yeah, it got a few ports. So it was a Wii game originally. It got a digital re-release that you can buy for like $20 on Wii U, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It got a port to the new 3DS. That's the first version I played. And it got a definitive edition for Switch that used the same graphical engine from Xenoblade 2 and 3.
Gotcha. Yeah, I hear those games, although they are like 1 million hours long, that they're actually really good.
They're fantastic. I will argue the first 2 games, the biggest problem, and I don't think it's a Xenoblade thing. Everyone tells me it's a Monolith thing. But the combat and the gameplay systems are very complex. Not overwhelming by any means, but complex. There's a lot of systems to consider with their progression, with their gameplay. So the game drip feeds you stuff. So it's very easy to be like double-digit hours in the game and be like, is this it for the combat? And then it introduced something new that you didn't know existed. So I know a lot of people got burnt out of Xenoblade 2 because that's the worst offender. It introduces stuff so slowly that you feel like, is this all there is to the combat? But it isn't. There's a lot to it. It's just getting over that hump is the hardest. Xenoblade 3 does not have that problem, at least not as bad. You unlock a lot of cool shit from the beginning, and very early on, the game shows you its gimmick, which in this game is like a job system. So you can unlock different classes, play as them, use abilities of those classes to mix and match how you want to build a character, build a team out. It's fucking phenomenal. So it's the same gameplay you've had from before, but with this job system. And I think it's the best version of the game so far.
Now, is this, and I am not a big, like, I know this is more of an action game, but I'm historically not a big JRPG type person. Now, is this tied into the same, like, Xenosaga, Xenogears world?
There's references to the Xenosaga and Xenogears.
Yeah.
But from what I've been told, they're like surface level references.
Okay, so like you don't have to know anything, or it's like a Final Fantasy game where it's like you can see an Easter egg, but the games have nothing to do with each other, kind of thing.
Almost. So Xenoblade 3 is a sequel to 1 and 2 in a way that I don't want to spoil.
Got it. Okay.
Because it's not obvious from the beginning. I probably spoiled it by saying that it's actually a sequel.
Okay.
But there's references to those games that make you think like this is connected to those first 2 games.
But not the entirety of the Xeno games. Okay.
So now, if you've ever played Xenoblade, they start out very simple, but by the end of the game, there's like a lot of crazy high science fiction concepts that you did not expect going into the game that literally drop in the last, like, usually the last third of the game. And so I'm waiting for that. I've already kind of experienced that a little bit with 3, but I know it's just going to get like crazier towards the end of it. But it's legitimate, like a really, really good game. Great story. It's fucking long though. So buckle up because it is a long game, but it's a lot of fun.
By the way, unrelated to this, but still Japan. I don't know if you guys have already talked about this, but have you all started hyping up how great Like a Dragon Ishin is going to be? And how that's going to be game of the year, game of the century, everything like that?
I haven't been following
about it. Yeah, I've been following it a lot, but I saw some of their first reveal trailers, and I was like, this looks fucking incredible.
Dude, I mean, like, 2019, I think it was, that's when I got introduced to the Yakuza series, and I was like, why have I not been addicted to this my entire life? Like, this is
great.
This is one of the greatest game franchises I've ever played. This is so good.
They're great. I started playing Yakuza 1 a while ago on PS Plus, and I loved it. I stopped playing because I'm like, I want to go back to 0 and work my way up from 0.
So I did that. Like, I started at 0 because I like to do things in order and stuff. I would actually recommend starting with 1.
Yeah.
Because 0 came, like, 0 was released after 5. Yeah. So like 0 being a prequel game actually flashes forward to things that happen in 4.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like the game, it's like you should be playing them in the order of release.
That's where it gets tricky because Yakuza Kiwami is like a remake of 1, and that released after 0, and it references 0, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't. So, maybe it. I don't think it does. Kiwami and Kiwami 2, so Yakuza 1 and 2 were like PS2 games, right?
Yeah.
Don't even worry about those games. Like, pretend they don't exist. The reason for that is Kiwami and Kiwami 2 actually, like, they're complete ground-up remakes. Like, they're not just remasters or anything. New engine, it's like, they created some new story arcs that actually improve Yakuza 1 and 2's story. And they put in like deleted stuff that was like on the cutting room floor from the first 2 games. So like you're going to get everything you need out of Kiwami 1 and 2. And then you move into 3, 4, 5, 0, 6. And then you can jump into Like a Dragon. You can do the Judgment spin-offs. It's like...
Yeah, there's a lot there to it. And it's all on Game Pass, so I just got to like...
all of it is on Game Pass. I am so pumped. It's like, 0, by the way, when you get to that, 0 is like... For last gen, like the PS4 Xbone generation, I was like, that's possibly one of the greatest games of that entire generation. Yakuza 0 is just an outstanding game.
All right, I can't wait to get to it then. It's on Game Pass, so I was kind of like buckle down and play it because I did like what I was playing for Kiwami.
Yeah.
So, that was on PS4, so I want to see the fidelity on PC, what that looks like.
Yeah, I went through them all on PS4 because that's all there was at the time. Like they weren't on Xbox yet. So I bought them all on the PS4, and then I bought Like a Dragon on the Series X because it was finally out for that. And Like a Dragon, it's turn based, so it's not my favorite, but it has a great story.
Yeah, I'll definitely check them out. I've been playing mostly on my Switch, and I play Pokemon Scarlet a lot. I'm still playing that.
How's that running now?
It still runs. It runs decent. Like I haven't had any these huge glitches that we've been seeing that have been making the rounds on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah,
I haven't been seeing any of those, so I haven't had the worst experience with it. There are some like annoying frame rate drops here and there, but it's nothing like as bad as I've been seeing on the internet. And
well, that's like so. Yeah, like one. That's I mean, similar. So when I saw all that happening, and I was like, "Holy crap, dude!" I was like, it instantly reminded me of like when Hyrule Warriors came out, and it was like it was basically too strong for the 3DS. So like they had, yeah, and that was when like the new 3DS came out, and it was like, okay, now it runs at like 30 or something like that. But those two examples right there are why, dude, I'm kind of worried about Tears of the Kingdom because, like, I know everybody loves Breath of the Wild. It's the greatest game ever. It's not. It's not even the best Zelda game. Whatever. But it's like. That game is either going to be too powerful for the Switch and it's going to run like crap, or they're going to hamstring the game and pull it, and like depower it so it runs well.
The thing about Pokemon is that Game Freak is just bad.
They're a shit developer, dude.
Yeah.
I'll say it. They're a shitty developer.
Xenoblade is incredible, and it runs fine on.
Exactly. That's the point I wanted to make. Is that Xenoblade runs beautifully. Definitive Edition runs really well. 2 could run better, but to be fair, 2 is the first Xenoblade game they released on Switch,
right?
And everything after that runs great. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the expansion Torna, the Golden Country, runs great. 3 runs great. Definitive Edition runs great. Everything that came out after 2 runs beautifully. And the fact that Game Freak can't get a solid performance out of Scarlet and Violet on Switch is fucking embarrassing.
Yeah.
And people keep saying like, oh, maybe the Switch isn't powerful enough. No, it's just Game Freak's always been a shit developer. Like, let's be honest here. Like they've never had to work with anything more powerful than like a handheld system. I will argue the second they got into 3D, they were already like overwhelmed.
I gotcha.
And that's where their problem is. They've always been like even for the original Pokemon. If you look at the original Pokemon games, when those came out, they were very simple games. We've had more complicated JRPGs, more complicated handheld games, but Pokemon's really simple. It's sprites making animations at each other. Like it's still sprites with animations playing over them at each other. So even then, like the original Blue and Red ran like shit, and there are so many like glitches people talk about now, even with those games. So Game Freak's always been this like shitty developer.
Even like Gold and Silver, like one of the big stories with Iwata was that he had to come in and rescue Gold and Silver.
I remember that.
Yeah, after he came in, they were fine. They were able to squeeze an entire fucking new like continent onto the game. So
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like they've always been. I don't know what their deal is. Like they've always been really shitty developers. They've never really had to push themselves to do anything really complicated. And I'll argue that moving to a console is what fucked with them, because now they have to take into account more complicated stuff. There's larger aspects to the actual game they need to account for to keep performance going. They actually have to worry about performance now, where they didn't have to before. And because of that, I mean, I'm not surprised. Everyone's surprised, but I'm not. Like the Pokemon games have always been, even very early on, like really buggy games. They've gotten better at them.
Yeah.
But now that they're moving into 3D gaming, finally, with people say like, well, they got into it with X and Y. No, it was still a 2D game. I don't care what you say. It had 3D models, but it didn't have any 3D gameplay to it. Like,
what was the one that came out like 2 years ago?
Sword and Shield.
No, Arceus.
Arceus, yeah.
Arceus, yeah. So like that was a 3D open world game. Did that run like crap too?
Yeah.
So, and here's the thing too. It wasn't like actually open world, right? It was like Monster Hunter. Like you
Old
picked
school
like
Monster
biomes.
Hunter. Yeah.
Oh, so like little condensed like levels that you load into.
PSP Monster Hunter style.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, and even then that ran like shit. Like this is an actually unbroken, uninterrupted open world game. So, and it runs fine. Like it runs at like 30. Some places that are more complicated do tank it a bit, but it runs decent. But the problem is, like, again, Monolith is able to squeeze so much power with Xenoblade. They should have just had Monolith work on it. I'm going to say it. Like, Monolith should have developed Pokemon.
Well, I mean, okay, so Game Freak is the developer, Nintendo's the publisher. It's it all falls under the Pokemon company, but like Nintendo is like a half owner of that anyway. So like, shouldn't they be able to just dedicate some people to make these games better?
So the thing with Pokemon is that the ownership is really weird because Nintendo owns Pokemon,
right?
And Game Freak's a developer. You're right, but the problem is that Game Freak are the ones who develop it. They're the ones who come up with it. They're the ones who they basically call the shots on like Pokemon themselves, as Nintendo pockets the money basically. And there was an initiative a while ago. I don't know if you guys remember, but back in like 2013, 2014, I want to say, Game Freak tried to publish a ton of different games that weren't under Pokemon. They had a Rhythm Night.
Look at that.
Look
at that frame rate.
Giga Wrecker.
So, yeah, Giga Wrecker, and that did not sell well at all. Nobody cared about Game Freak when they weren't making Pokemon, so they went back to Pokemon.
That sucks. Yeah. I didn't mean to derail the conversation. I just like I'm not a fan of Pokemon, so I was like, all I hear are these like similar to the Grand Theft Auto thing. It's like all I hear are these just horror stories about that game.
Yeah,
but
and here's the thing: I will admit, like the performance can be fucking terrible in some places, but here's the thing nobody's talking about. Mechanically, I think is the best Pokemon game we've had in a very long time.
Okay.
Like the actual mechanics to it are very, very deep, and they've made things like EV training, IV breeding so much easier in the game. There's a lot of quality of life stuff now. TMs are very easy to put together. There's a larger selection of TMs, and you can actually get you craft them from getting parts from Pokemon that you fight in battle. So there's more incentive to like actually fighting random Pokemon than just like leveling up. And on top of that, the terrestrializing system that they add, this new gameplay gimmick, just changes up the competitive scene so much. You have so much creativity with how you build your Pokemon, how you build your team. Mechanically, this is one of the best Pokemon games I've played in a very long time. Right. It's just everything around it is what people are talking about.
Yeah.
And that's fair to them. Like, most people don't play Pokemon to play like the depth of it. They want to play through the campaign, the story, and call it a day, and that's fine. And if that's what you want to do, yeah, the experience is kneecapped a little bit with the performance.
Right.
It's not as bad as I think the internet makes it seem, because I was able to play through it relatively bug-free. I didn't have any of these major glitches that are making the rounds on Twitter, but it wasn't perfect, and I was a little disappointed with the performance that was there. But it's not like game-breaking or anything. It's not unplayable like everybody makes it seem like it is.
Gotcha.
I also, you guys will see later, but Nintendo announced that they're adding GBA and Game Boy Color games to Nintendo Switch Online.
I need to update my Switch. I totally forgot about that.
And that's what got me to bite the bullet and get that expansion.
I still haven't pulled that trigger, man. I'm still like,
so here's
I love GBA games. I love all that stuff. I just hate that they're saddling me into DLC for stuff I'm not going to play.
I agree. That's something that's really shitty to deal with. But here's where I got lucky. The family pass is like $80 a year, and that gets you all the Switch Online content plus the expansion stuff. I have a pretty big family. We're all gamers, so we all got together like, hey, I want to do this. Let's all get together and do it. So between me, my wife is on my family plan, my brother's wife's on his family plan, so we are paying for 2 people each. But all in all, for the 6 of us, for that like $80, it was like less than $15 a year per person to do it.
Yeah.
So that's where I got lucky, you know, because I think like the standalone expansion is like what, $40 a year?
Something like that. I don't know. So I'm just regular Nintendo Switch Online. So I'm downloading Game Boy now.
So regular Switch Online is like $20 a year.
Right.
And Online Plus expansion is $50 a year solo.
Yeah.
So, but the family plan is like 80. So that's where I lucked out. Even with my wife, I'm still only paying like $30 a year for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still less than like what a single expansion online pass would cost. So
okay.
that's where I lucked out. If I had to pay like $50 a year, I don't know if I don't think it's worth it at that point. If you get some friends together, divvy up the cost, I think it's worth it there. You can get up to 8 people, so $10 per person for a year. I think it's worth it at that point. And I gotta say, dude, like I'm having fun with it. Like the GBA games on selection now aren't too big. They promise more games are going to come, but right now for GBA,
didn't they promise more NES and Super Nintendo games are coming?
there's a fuck ton of NES and Super Nintendo games already, but yeah,
dude, but they trickle out, dude. Like
they do.
Yeah, like once every 3-4 months now, it's like, hey, here's some D-list NES game. Awesome.
Yeah, and the problem is because they're focusing everything on like the expansion pass stuff.
Yeah,
because of the expansion pass, you get the NES games. On top of that, you also get Game Boy Advance, N64, Sega Genesis games. Like there's a fuck ton of stuff to it. And that's what I ended up doing. I ended up getting that plus like a bunch of DLC too. I think the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass is like free for Switch Online or Switch expansion members.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of content here. If you're into it, that's the thing though. If you don't give a fuck about N64 games like I do, I don't really care about N64 games. It wasn't worth it to me.
I love all that, like the emulators and the games that they have available for it. I just want the middle option of just give me the retro games with no DLC.
Yeah, the fact that the only way to play these GBA games is to pay the subscription pisses me off a little bit, especially since I own some of these games from like past Nintendo systems. And I'm not talking like GBA. Like I own Super Metroid on a Wii and Wii U.
Yeah.
I bought it twice, but to play it on my Switch, I need to pay them a subscription. That's bullshit to me.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But yeah, I was able to split up with my family, so the cost of entry isn't that bad. And I gotta say, like, there's some cool games in here. The fact there's some games in here that aren't really common is what is exciting to me. So, like, on GBA, you have the popular heavy hitters, you know, Minish Cap, Mario Luigi Superstar Saga, Mario Kart Super Circuit, Mario Brothers 3, WarioWare, but also Kuru Kuru Kururin, which, like, is it's a fun, like, how can I word it? It's a cult classic game, but it's not a game that like people are talking about really when they think GBA games. So to see something like that's really cool. For the N64, you know, you got your main heavy hitters, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Mario 64, but also like Sin and Punishment.
Yeah.
Which is fucking awesome. I never played Sin and Punishment until this.
That game had a Wii, a sequel on the Wii.
Yeah, that's what I played, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I played this original too, but I would like to see that game with better controls, or most of these games really.
And that's the cool thing with this is that like the it feels fine to me to play it on Switch. And with the Switch, there's an inherent button mapping feature. You can do that system wide. So
Right.
Yeah.
if you don't like the way the controller's set up, there's ways to change it. Like, little sidetrack here, but with Sin and Punishment, there's two control options. There's a manual aiming and an automatic aiming, and you swap between that by hitting the A button, which is annoying to take your thumb off the stick to change the option. So I switched that to like pushing it on the D stick. So I just click it on the D stick to switch that. That's something I did to make more comfortable. So there's options there. If you don't like the controls, there's options to fix it. And I gotta say, man, for this, like the little bit I'm paying for it, I think it's worth it to have.
Right.
And I like it. Like I think Sin and Punishment's fucking great. Banjo-Kazooie's on here, which I didn't know was on here, so that's really cool. I'm having a lot of fun with it, playing through it. Again, I'm not a big N64 fan though. I will make the argument that a lot of N64 games did not age well.
Dude, I had one, right? Like I bought it when it came out, and I played it for years, and it was like, even now, I'm like, if you were like, Clay, can you name 10 amazing N64 games? I'll be like, I can name 5.
Yeah, exactly. Or that very early 3D gaming. It's nostalgic, but it does not hold up well. Unlike SNES, which I will argue like kind of perfected what the NES was doing. So a lot of SNES games still hold up today, and that's great. Not so much the N64. That whole generation, N64, PS1, Dreamcast, most of them didn't age too well. But so that's why I didn't get into it initially. But with the small cost of entry that I have for splitting it up, and the fact that I have GBA games now, which did age very well, with promises more games coming down the pipeline. I saw Metroid Fusion in that list of games they were promising.
The game's awesome.
Excited. It is awesome. It's one of my favorite GBA games. So I'm excited to see what comes next for it. And I think it's worth it right now. If you can get it on a deal, split up with some friends, some family, split it up. I think it's worth it then. If not, the only option is to pay for it in full for yourself. $50 a year is a tall order to ask, especially there's only a few games on here you like. I say wait until like, the library is big enough to like warrant that subscription.
Right.
But I'm having fun with it so far with what little I am paying. We spent a lot of time talking about what we were playing. We have a whole like news section to go over. Nintendo just had their Direct for February 2023. And they came out with some bangers, man. Pikmin 4 was the first they opened up with a release date for July 21st. It's introducing a bunch of cool stuff. The same Pikmin gameplay we like. Pikmin types like red Pikmin, blue Pikmin, yellow Pikmin, a new ice Pikmin I've never seen before. A dog that can like help follow you around and find stuff for you. And a release date. This is the first I heard of Pikmin 4, and we already got a release date, July 21st, coming out this year.
I can't believe Pikmin is still hot.
It's a pretty popular property. It's a game I never really played, but
did you all? And I've actually never played a Pikmin game. Did you all get a chance? And it might still be on Game Pass, but it's called Tinykin.
I heard of that one.
Yeah,
I hear it's basically Pikmin. Yeah, I hear it's basically.
That's what I was curious about, because Tinykin was a lot of fun, and I was like, "Is this what Pikmin is?" Because if so, I'm gonna have to play this.
It's basically Pikmin. I've never played Pikmin.
Pikmin's more difficult.
Yeah.
I remember playing Pikmin. Like when I got my GameCube, I got 2 games with it, and one of them was Pikmin, and the other one was Phantasy Star Online. But I just remember Pikmin. I remember being terrified. Like whenever the nighttime comes in Pikmin, just being terrified at the shit that comes out at night.
I remember the time system because the game's on a clock. It's on a timer.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like really anxious as a kid. I had my dad pick up Pikmin for me because I heard it was fun, and there's a secret trophy in Smash Brothers you can only get if you have a Pikmin save on your memory card.
Oh, no way.
So I was like, all right, well, I'll try it. So I asked my dad to pick it up for me, and he got it used in case I didn't like it. I could take it back. As soon as I saw the game was on a timer, I was like, no, I can't. My little boy anxiety could not handle this.
Too much pressure. Not happening.
Yeah, way too much pressure. So I told my dad, I can't do this. It's probably not that bad now. Everyone tells me that the timer's pretty like lenient,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I didn't play it as a kid. I'll probably get into it now, but there's no way to play Pikmin now without like having to dig up an old system. So
Yep.
You could always play Tinykin.
I
Game
could.
Pass.
I could. It's basically Pikmin without the time system. So
Yeah, it was actually a lot of fun.
yeah. But yeah, that's releasing July 21st. I know a lot of people are excited for that. Call me when there's like a Pikmin trilogy remake on Switch. That's what I'll get into it. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, they announced the last 2 waves of DLC, roguelike challenge battle, and a new hero for Volume 3. Volume 4 got teased, which looks like it's going to be a story thing, which got me excited because I saw some like older characters in there. Rex was there looking much older. Shulk was there looking exactly the same. So I want to see what this does. I'm excited to like beat the game, see how that connects to 1 and 2. So I can like really get into this expansion that they're releasing. Samba de Amigo Party Central.
I was so happy to see that.
Yeah.
I was so happy to see that. I was like, dude, that game was so fun.
I didn't know Samba de Amigo had such a huge fan base, but I guess a lot of people were excited for it.
It is just a dumb fun game.
That's what everyone tells me.
Yeah.
And it's cool. It's coming out summer this year. So check that out once that drops. We also got Fashion Dreamer. You can become a stylish influencer with over 1,000 design options, releasing exclusively for Switch later this year. Dead Cells Return to Castlevania got a first gameplay trailer, and that's dropping March 6th. That's fucking cool. I love me Castlevania. I wish Konami would just make a new Castlevania game, but whatever. Yep. This is the best we got. I'll pick this up. Tron Identity, a visual novel, got a first gameplay reveal, and that's releasing April this year. And a move nobody expected, Ghost Trick is getting a remaster in HD.
What is Ghost
I've
Trick?
never played the original, but watching the trailer for that, I was like, oh, that kind of looks fun.
So Ghost Trick is it's a visual novel detective game with puzzle elements. The gimmick is that your character, it opens up with your character dying. He doesn't remember who he is, why he died, who killed him, and basically trying to solve like why this happened before they get anybody else. But the gimmick is that you're a ghost, so you can possess stuff.
And this was like a DS game or something, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was a DS game.
Yeah.
And that's where the gameplay comes in, because you're like tapping stuff to like possess, but you got to arrange stuff to progress through the game and maybe save other people from dying. So you can see when people are going to die, and you can manipulate the environment to like prevent that. So like if someone's going to get shot, you could like manipulate a light to go off and scare the guy to stop him from shooting. Like, I don't think that's actually in the game, but it's like an example of stuff you can do. And yeah. I've been told it's actually like a pretty solid hidden gem on the DS. It's impossible to get right now because physical copies for it run for crazy amounts, and there's an iOS port you can buy that apparently is like, it's okay. But now we're getting an HD release for that on Switch later this year. And I know people who are excited for it. I kind of want to try it. I heard it was a great game. I never had a chance to play it when it was on DS. I don't feel like dropping a ton of money for a physical copy. So this is good. If it releases later this year in HD for a decent price, I might pick it up. It sounds like it'd be cool. And then this game, Deca Police, I still don't know what the fuck this is entirely. It's like a JRPG open world game, but there's like a detective aspect to it where you're investigating murders, but you're also fighting like JRPG bosses. It's really weird. But I gotta say, I'm into it. From what I was watching in the trailer, this looks pretty dope. We also got Bayonetta Origins, Raise of the Lost Demon. That got announced a couple months back. We actually got a look at the gameplay. That's set to drop next month, March 17th. Looks good. It's not a traditional Bayonetta game. It's got this like storybook art style to it. And for the gameplay, you're not really attacking. You're having this demon attack, and you're just like encouraging him, supporting him, letting him do his thing.
Support. It's an interesting take on Bayonetta, where you don't
very
fight
interesting.
As Bayonetta.
Yeah, very interesting. I don't know what compelled him to do this, but it's still cool to see. Like, I love Bayonetta. I've never been a fan of the story of the games. I'll be honest here. I don't play Bayonetta for the story, and it looks like this is trying to be like an origin story for Bayonetta. I still might pick this up because the game looks kind of fun and charming, despite the fact that it's not what I'm looking for in a Bayonetta experience. It still looks like it might be a fun game. Splatoon 3 is dropping its new expansion. Wave 1 is taking us to Inktopolis. It's available spring of this year. Wave 2, meanwhile, is called Side Order. No details on it yet, no release date on it yet. But if you're a Splatoon 3 fan, buckle up because that first expansion is going to be dropped pretty soon. So pick that up if you want to remain competitive. Disney Illusion Island got its gameplay trailer featuring 2D platforming and 4-player co-op.
This game, so this was shown off last year also, and it was like, this game looks fun, dude. I'm just going to put that out there.
It's called Illusion Island. Is this like
Castle World of Illusion kind of thing?
Yeah. Is it like attached to those?
I don't think so. I think they're just using the name. Because like, from what I remember back in the 16-bit days, Castle of Illusion and World of Illusion, they just shared the name. They didn't really have anything to do with each other.
Yeah.
So this could just be another one of those. But yeah, I saw this and I was like, yeah, I'm playing this. Like me and my buddy are going to go through this. Yeah, like exactly.
Rayman games, which I'm excited for because I love those games, and Ubisoft stopped making them, so I'm bummed out about that.
Yeah.
But this looks cool as fuck. Like, I'm into this. Yeah, I saw this trailer and I was like, this looks cool. I might pick this up, actually.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem Engage is getting more emblems like Hector, Soren, and Camilla in Wave 2, which is releasing that day. So that's available already. Wave 3 set to have Chrom and Veronica. Wave 4 will have Fel Xenologue, which is a brand new story. I don't know what any of these words are. I don't know who any of these people are, but I'm sure there's some like Fire Emblem Engage fans that are like holding on to every single little bit here. So
how about Chrom?
I know who Chrom is, but I don't know who Camilla is, or Hector, or Soren, or what a Fel Xenologue is. But yeah, you can pick that up when that releases. So Wave 1's already out. Wave 2's already out. Wave 3 and 4 are set to come out pretty soon. So check those once they drop. We also got Harmony, The Fall of Reverie, the new Don't Nod game with award-winning composer Lena Rain. That's at the drop June 2023. I never heard of this game before. I'll be honest here.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Looks okay. It's from Don't Nod, so I don't know if they Life is Strange is okay. People seem to like that.
Yeah, the animation for it looks really cool. It's got this I don't know if you've seen a lot of the Netflix animated series that like the Castlevania anime, Seis Manos, but all that animation studio looks kind of like this, so I'm into it.
Yeah. I wish they would just
it's
make
a Don't
another
Nod game.
action game. People forgot about Remember Me.
I was just thinking about that as we were talking about this. I was like, from the makers of Remember Me.
Yeah.
I forgot they made that until you reminded me right now. So
Yeah.
I don't know, because they didn't just do these like, Life is Strange games. They did Remember Me, that vampire game. They did that for a while ago too.
Yeah.
Which one? Oh, Vampire with a Y.
Yeah.
Did I play that? I think I played that.
I tried. I put about 2 hours into it. It is so much dialogue.
Yeah,
I was
I think I tried.
I'm not doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess like Life is Strange was their breakout, and they were like, oh well, we'll just keep doing that.
Yeah, that seems like what they did. Yeah. But yeah, so we got Harmony. That's set to release in June. Check it out. Octopath Traveler 2 got some new gameplay with a trailer already available. Demo already available. You can go download the demo right now. Progress of the demo does carry over to the main game, so go check that out. If you liked Octopath Traveler 1, you might like 2. That's releasing really soon, February 24th, so in like 2 weeks. We Love Katamari is releasing June 2nd. It's going to feature 5 new challenges and a selfie camera. I've never played a Katamari game before, so
that's fun, dude.
They're great.
Everyone tells me. That's what everyone tells me. Yeah,
they're fun. I think similar to other like franchises, they kind of went overboard, by making way too many of them, like too fast.
Yeah.
But I will say, this trailer alone, if you look at it, you can see where it drops from time to time. Like, it's just like, okay, guys, we really need to start harnessing the power of the Switch.
Like the frame
It's
rate,
like, yeah, it drops like and I was like, that's not the best video to show on your trailer, man.
That's
Come
something
on.
I appreciate about Switch trailers is that they'll show you they like you could cut around this, guys, but they'll just leave that shit in. That does have a demo up. You should probably try that demo, or was it a trial? It was a trial of the first remaster. People
they are fun.
Yeah, to see how it performs. Yeah,
not just to see how it performs, but to see how it controls. Because one of the hurdles of this game is like the controls are incredibly hard to get used to. Yeah, you're actually they try to emulate you actually pushing the thing, so it's like you tilt both sticks up to like simulate your hands pushing, and like to turn you put one up and one down.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad. Like,
yeah, it's harder than it sounds though.
Yeah, it's not just a one stick game or anything like that. You know, it's.
I can see myself getting into that. I'll try a demo for sure. See if I like it.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this next game, but I want to pick it up. Sea of Stars is releasing August 29th. The demo available right now.
Yeah.
It's a indie turn-based RPG. Kind of reminds me of like Chrono Trigger a little bit.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is I was reading the description here, and it says it's a turn-based RPG set in the Messengers universe. Remember Messengers? The Messenger, the Ninja Gaiden style game.
Oh.
The Messenger.
Yeah, the Messenger. I mean, Messengers.
Is that what
like,
they're talking about?
Yeah, by Messengers, I mean like possessive noun. The Messengers universe. The game's called
wow.
Messenger. Yeah.
I don't play games like this, but I was like, the Messenger was sick, so I'd be curious to know what happens in this.
Yeah, I played a bit of the Messenger. I liked it a lot.
That game was incredible.
Yeah, I want to finish it, but I haven't had a chance to finish it yet. I think it's still on Game Pass, so I might check it out there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't know this is in the same world as this game. Like, that's crazy to me when I was hearing about that.
Yeah, I think it's on the wish list. They brought in the soundtrack is what got me on this, and just the whole aesthetic and the adherence to the style, that like Chrono Trigger style. I'm like, yeah, they're going for something here that's tickling my fancy. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
According to the website here, the same team from The Messenger is working on this game, and it's supposed to be like a prequel set like way before.
Interesting.
Which could be cool, yeah. And there's like a frequently asked questions section on their website. It's like, why not make Messenger 2? And they're just like, well, we like to make a lot of different games. Like, we like RPGs too. Let's make an RPG.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
I sincerely hope there is a Messenger 2 because the first one was great.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's something I didn't know about. I heard about this game before, but I didn't know it was like attached to the Messenger game. So that's pretty cool to see.
It's under a different studio. Like, I guess, I don't know.
It's the same team, though. That's the thing. Like,
okay.
Because on their website, where was it? Yeah, one of the frequently asked questions is it the same team as Messenger? And it says, yeah, the core team from the Messenger has fully transitioned over to Sea of Stars.
Great.
Apparently, they ramped up their team to more people because like RPGs are harder to make than platformers. But yeah, it's the same core team from that game, from the Messenger.
Awesome.
And there is a demo available for it, so I might just check that out. I love me some RPGs. It's an indie game, so it can't be that long, right? Like, I'm not looking at like 100+ hour game. Even the original Chrono Trigger was what, like 20 hours? So, and they have a special guest composer, Yasunori Mitsuda, who was the original composer for Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So
yeah, that's what got me.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, they're really going for this Chrono Trigger thing.
again, like I'm not a JRPG fan, but like I do actively listen to the Chrono Trigger soundtrack.
So
Like
what don't you like about JRPGs? The turn-based combat or
turn-based combat.
yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
That's essentially what it is. Like I hate waiting to be attacked.
You don't
Yeah,
like the
I can
strategy involved sometimes, because I can do turn based when the strategy involved is like really good,
same.
like a
Yeah.
Final Fantasy X where it shows you whose turn it is going to be, like for the next 5 turns, who's about to attack, and when you can affect that, like if I cast slow on this guy, his turn goes down, so I get another hit in. Like when I can see that and manipulate that, I kind of like that, but.
Yeah, Yakuza Like a Dragon. Like I said,
Yeah.
that's officially my least favorite Yakuza game because it's turn-based, even though it has an awesome story. But also, I think the only other turn-based game I've ever really enjoyed was like Stick of Truth, and that's
Okay.
because it was just the combat was very like fast and over. So it was like
Yeah.
like when you get into the fights, they're usually over within like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, this like minimized the amount of torture I have to go through.
So I could see the why I used to be this like kind of elitist, like, oh, you don't like turn-based games, well, you don't like thinking. But now that I've gotten older, it's like some people just aren't wired to like turn-based games, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there are some good games out there. I say like try out the Persona games. They're long as fuck, but
That's what I hear.
but I will argue the gameplay for them is very solid. There's a lot of strategy goes into like manipulating weaknesses, getting extra turns.
It's that stuff that I like. I like when there's
Yeah.
something else going on besides just the fucking you hit me, I hit you.
Yeah.
I
And
will say I did enjoy back in the PS1 days. My roommate had Parasite Eve.
Oh.
And
that's a good middle ground. That's a good
that
middle
was because like I could still move around and dodge attacks. So like I wasn't just standing there being hit by something. Like I like as your little timer bar was filling up, I could actually like move around.
So if you like that gameplay, you probably played a Super Giants game, Transistor.
I know of it. I've actually never played it.
It's very similar to Parasite Eve in the sense that it's an active time battle system where you can move around. But the gimmick is the customization to your character is fucking insane.
Yeah.
So try that out. If you like Parasite Eve, you'll love Transistor.
I mean, on top of
I've been meaning to play that.
It's good. Yeah, on top of the
Super
giant game, like they can
because like I also never played what was their first one?
Bastion?
Bastion? Yeah, I've actually never played that either.
I didn't play it till like a couple years ago, so that's fine.
Yeah.
It's a good game. But Transistor though it's a turn-based game, but it's similar to Parasite Eve.
Yeah.
And again, like the customization for the game, I don't want to go into too much detail, but there's a lot of customization to how the game plays, how you can build your character up. There's room to experiment with it. It's dope. You should try it.
I hear it.
Yeah. Where the fuck was I? Yeah, Sea of Stars. That's you can download the demo right now. Check it out. Game drops August 29th. Omega Strikers is an air hockey game. You can play. It's releasing free April 27th, and you can pre-order it today, despite the fact that it's a free game. But whatever.
I saw this and I was like, didn't Windjammers 2 just come out? It's like,
I mean, it's a little
but it was
different.
like, this is, it's more multiplayer aspect. I get it, but I was just like, wait a minute.
It's always air hockey too. Like Windjammers is more like frisbee.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a little different, but yeah, I'm not sure how this works without actually playing it.
It looks like it'd be like a fun party game kind of thing.
Yeah, it does. It does, and I might. I mean, it's dropping in April, so it might be worth just trying it for free. The Etrian Odyssey games, a collection of the 3 Etrian Odyssey games, are dropping for Switch June 1st, 2023. They're starting with the first game, and you can buy the games individually if you don't want to buy them all together. I think it's like $35 a game, something like $80 for all 3 if you buy them all together. So check that out if you're a fan of the Etrian Odyssey games. Advance Wars 1 and 2 is actually releasing. Yes, for real. This game, how long did this get announced? Like 2018?
It's something like that. Yeah, there's a dude on our Discord that like is obsessed with this series, and he's like, "Oh my god, it's happening finally!"
I remember this got announced like before COVID. That's how
Yeah.
long ago it was this was happening. And it's actually releasing April 21st. You can go pick it up when it drops in April or pre-order it right now. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe got a new story expansion featuring Magalore. Those who don't know, Return to Dreamland was originally a Wii game, and it got re-released on Switch with a new expansion for the evil villain Magalore. It actually looks pretty cool. There's like a lot of customization you can do to Magalore to kind of change how he plays, how he operates. So that'd be cool to check out. That's releasing February 24th. So in like 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. And we talked about it earlier, Switch Online is adding Game Boy games. And the expansion's getting Game Boy Advance games. So we're getting games like Tetris, Mario Land 2, Link's Awakening, Gargoyle's Quest, Game & Watch Gallery, Alone in the Dark, which I didn't think we would ever see releasing outside of physical.
I was very surprised to see that.
I was surprised to see that. That's another thing I like about this. If they're going to keep releasing Game Switch Online, they got to dig deep, get some of the weird like hidden gems. I think that could justify the cost for the subscription a little bit. Instead of like, because you have all the heavy hitters everyone's played, but let's see some weird shit like Alone in the Dark. Like that, that'd be cool. Metroid 2, Wario Land 3, Kirby's Dream Land, all available right now with promises of more to come. For Game Boy Advance, we have what I said before: Super Mario Advance, Mario Brothers 3, WarioWare, Kurokurin.
I own WarioWare on the GBA, and it was like that is one of my favorite GBA games. So I was like, oh my god, like that. That is something right there.
I didn't play it until like I was in college, but that's because I had a 3DS,
right?
And it was right before they did that huge price drop to it, and in return they gave a bunch of 3DS ambassadors. Remember that? A bunch of games. That's the first. They gave out like 10 GBA games, 10 Game Boy. What was it? 10 GBA games, 10 NES games. And that's the first time I played WarioWare. Yeah. And it was fucking incredible. I loved it.
I was obsessed with that game. I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. And then
good. It's really good. And it's on Switch right now. Along with Mario Kart Super Circuit, Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, which I think is like one of the best 2D Zelda games ever. So they're all available today. It promises more games to come, so go check that out if you have a Switch Online subscription. Metroid Prime got a remaster for Switch. It released that day on digital, with a physical edition coming out February 22nd. I'll be honest, I think Metroid Prime's okay.
Oh, you're crazy.
I've never played them.
I think it's too slow to me, dude. I got it. I didn't get into it as a kid. I bought it years later on Wii U. They had a collection of the games with motion control. So the first game for Wii U. And I couldn't get into it. It was too slow for me, dude. I didn't like it. I'll probably try it again. I'll probably try it again later. I'll get my dust off my Wii U and try it again. But yeah, I thought it was all right. Everyone tells me the other games are better, but
I don't know. This first one I think is like perfect.
Yeah,
I think it's a perfect video game here.
Is it just like perfect. Is it just because like the beginning's really slow? Is like a hump I got to get over, or is that just the whole game?
No, the entire game's slow. And that's why I love it. It's like it has a very deliberate aesthetic to it, a very deliberate atmosphere to it. Like it's a very lonely game, and it's like creepy in that way too. I love it for that.
There's a guy on our Discord who played it for the first time just a few months ago, and he was kind of in the same boat where he was like, "This game is boring as hell. I do not understand." And then about 20 hours into it, he was like, I was completely wrong. This is one of the greatest games ever.
Okay. I think I just need to let myself get absorbed into the game. Like, I'm not giving the game that chance, like, let it absorb me.
Yeah.
and that's the problem I'm having with it. I'll give it another shot. I mean, I own the game already, and if I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna play it. I'm not gonna buy it again on Switch because I don't feel like playing it with a controller. I'm gonna use the motion controls. Um, yeah, I'll give it another shot. But
And
I've
it's
actually
like-
heard this remaster actually like does a really good job like upscaling the game, remastering the graphics.
Some
Like I
people
actually heard
were
it's really
upset.
good.
It has some mechanical changes as well. Some people were one of the more controversial changes was that the charge shot doesn't start charging immediately. What it does is you hold it and it does 3-round burst and then it starts charging. Which I think I understand why they changed that is because they changed you shoot with the trigger now when in the original you shot with the A button.
Yeah,
Or I mean, I did the B button. I think it was the A button. But
yeah, it was one of the face buttons.
since you're not shooting with the face button, it's harder to rapid fire with the trigger. If you're just like mashing it, it's harder to do that. So I think they made that change so it's easier to get quick shots off if you just hold it. But then it has a downside of it takes longer to start your charge. So
Yeah, that's a bummer. I don't know. I haven't. I own it. Like I said, I got it on Wii U. So I was playing with the trigger, and I don't remember it like feeling like that bad. But whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, that's
Okay.
available now with the physical copy releasing February 22nd. I've actually seen some like, I think Digital Foundry did like a performance review on it. They were showing that like it actually runs super well on Switch, despite like the upgrades that it got.
Yeah.
Which is incredible to me to see because that game came out on the GameCube and it ran like great. I remember I got it on GameCube when I was a kid and it ran beautifully. So to carry that over to the Switch, enhance it, give it an HD makeover,
Yeah.
it's impressive to see that. And people
I
say
think-
the Switch is like underpowered.
I think they said internally it is still the GameCube version, but they did some wizardry to kind of give it a huge facelift. So
Which
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know what wizardry they put into it because the game looks beautiful. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't think they would remake the game. No, this is
yeah.
like just a crazy upscaled version of it.
Are there plans to get the other games out there? Because like Metroid Prime 4 is supposed to come out in a couple of years, right? Or like the next year or two?
yeah. I would assume that they're gonna do that, but who knows? I mean, they
Now, how
announced and
much?
dropped this at the same time, so no one even knew this was happening.
How much is Prime remastered anyway? It's like
I think it's like 40.
Worth it.
which, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like again, I got it on Wii U, like the digital package for all three games, and like normally it's like $40 for all three games.
Mm.
So you think it's worth it? $40 for the single game, even with the facelift. You think it's still worth it?
That
$40 for the
Nintendo tax though.
Well, here's the thing: the Nintendo tax is a thing now because the Switch is selling. But on the Wii U, they're desperate to move games. They're selling games for like nothing. Xenoblade Chronicles X, you can get it on Wii U digital for like $20.
Yeah.
Like the Wii U shop's still open. It'll be open till like March, I think. You can get it for like $20. Xenoblade Chronicles, you can get it digital for $20. Like it's stupid. So yeah, to see that like Metroid Prime Remaster is like $40. I don't know. It's hard for me to justify it. I think I'm just gonna stick with like because what you tell me, it's a very atmospheric game, so it would lose some of that if you played it in handheld, right?
Oh, sure,
I would
sure.
think so.
I mean, but you could. I mean, you don't have to play it in handheld.
You don't have to, but if it's a better experience playing on your TV, I'd rather like dust off my Wii U and just play it that way with motion controls.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, you're not. Yeah, it's not. It's not. You're not gaining. If you already have it, it's no. There's no reason to go out and like get this version. I don't think.
yeah.
But
The only reason you would want to get this is like if you absolutely need it on your Switch, which I don't think it's that big of a necessity to be honest, especially since like Prime 4 is going to come out soon. So
yeah.
yeah, never mind. Fuck this game. I'm not going to pick it up yet.
Yeah.
Master Detective Archives was shown off and it's releasing June 30th. I've never heard of this game before in my fucking life.
Yes.
Yes, you know about this game?
No, I have no idea.
All right.
Yeah.
Moving on then. Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 is releasing.
Yes.
I heard of this game like once from a buddy of mine.
This game, dude.
And
I remember. I remember being very excited for this game on GameCube, and then but not being able to get, because being a kid, I have limited resources and games were expensive back then, so I never got to play it until way later. And then like I finally played. I was like, yes, I finally got Baten Kaitos. And then I found out that it's a fucking card game. The disappointment, dude.
It's not like a regular card game. It's like a JRPG with like a card mechanic.
Card games, cards in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not playing this.
Yeah. It looks pretty good. It looks like Final Fantasy X, but with like a card system. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I remember all the promotional material over this game on the GameCube, and me being very excited and like not being able to play it. And then
I think it's a card game.
I was like, oh my, it's a fucking card game? Like, I was so disappointed, dude.
Well, that's releasing summer 2023.
That's a huge surprise, though, that they're doing this, because that is a forgotten game.
Yeah, nobody talks about this game. I heard about this game exactly once from a buddy of mine. When I was in college. He's like a huge Nintendo fan, and he was talking about it. It was like an exclusive JRPG for the GameCube, and I was like, I never heard of this shit before. And that was the last time I heard about it until like today. Or until this direct. So that's a cool game to check out. If you're a fan of them, go check it out when that drops. Fantasy Life, The Girl Who Steals Time was shown off. If you guys don't know, Fantasy Life is a like Animal Crossing RPG, like action RPG. It was super popular on 3DS, I think is when it first released. That's getting released later this year.
I think that's the one
A new Professor Layton game got announced. No details on it yet, just that it's coming. Oh, excuse me. Wave 4 of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe got announced, featuring Yoshi's Island map, the character Birdo. That's releasing later this spring. We got a quick look at a bunch of different games they showed off in rapid fire succession. So Minecraft Legends got little love. Mega Dreamlight Valley, Tales of Symphonia Remastered. But they ended the show with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And oh boy, I am excited for this game, dude.
It looks so good.
I am hyped as fuck for this game. I cannot wait for this to come out. Oh my god, it showed off a much darker setting. We got to look at the dark world and the bright world, as well as the darker story that we're going to see here. There's like grinding on rails, there's vehicles, there's just so much shit here that's going to change up how the game plays, and I can't wait to play it, dude.
This is gonna be exciting. They haven't, with the one thing that people I think want to know about this is, do the fucking weapons break?
That is the only thing I need to know, because that alone is why I'm like, yeah, Breath of the Wild was fine, but it's not even in my top 5 Zelda games.
I think it's an incredible game, but yeah, the weapon breaking definitely holds it back. There's
it completely ruined fun in that game to me.
Yeah,
I didn't have a problem with that. I thought it was fine for me, but like in terms of
it didn't ruin it for me, but it definitely would have been better without it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It would change the way you play. You would just hold on to your favorite weapon. It would just never break. Like it definitely changes the way you play that game, but I think for the better, in terms of it being the type of game it is, where you do have to just get creative with things a lot of the time. I think it's better for it, but
I see what you mean, but I don't know. I feel like I think I just didn't like it. It was annoying, but you're right. It did add an atmosphere to the game that, you know, that sense of like creativity, improvisation. That I think is one of the games that's absolute best. You know, when things don't go the way you want them to, so you got to kind of figure it out.
Yeah,
I think that's when the game's at its best.
It's in terms of like ranking of Zelda, the problem for me is the dungeons.
Yeah, the dungeons are fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's hard to call it a Zelda game where it's missing one of the key ingredients of Zelda, are those fucking dungeons for me. So it's like it's the same problem I have with Metal Gear Solid 5, where I think it loses some of its identity in terms of being a Metal Gear game when it comes to like the story and the way it tells its story. I think Metal Gear Solid 5 kind of loses some of its identity there, but it makes up for it in being straight up tactical espionage action. It is the epitome of that. Whereas like Zelda, Breath of the Wild, for me, it loses some of its Zelda identity in terms of the dungeons, but like everything else is like, if you go all the way back to Zelda 1, I think it is the ultimate realization of what they were trying to do on the NES.
Yeah.
They finally realized in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
They're getting another chance to reiterate on some of those things where
if they can just I agree. If they can make Breath of the Wild with like really good dungeons, then we're fine. This game will be perfect.
yeah.
And that's something that I hated about Breath of the Wild too, is like when I was playing through the dungeons, I was like, that's it? Like that's the same like mechanical looking Sheikah design from dungeon to dungeon. Granted, you had the smaller like trials and stuff, the shrines to do, but the actual main dungeons, the beasts,
Yeah.
it was very boring. I didn't like the design for them. It's very, and I understand why, because at the end of the day, it's a very open-ended way to solve it. So it's not they can't implement the same dungeon design where they know what room you're going to be in, where each key is, because you can kind of explore it the way you want.
Yeah.
So
I think they were scared to force people to have a certain, but I think that would have made it more. I think it would have been better if it was like, hey, you don't have the item you need to proceed, so leave and do something else. I think
and there's a way to do it too. You could like have the way to get to the dungeon require that item. Like, I'm not a game developer, but I'm sure if there's a way to develop the area around it that you need this item to like get to the dungeon, like I think that's something that could work. And because of that, again, like I see why they did it. And a big part of it's a course correct from Skyward Sword, because people complain how linear Skyward Sword was, even though it wasn't that fucking linear, but whatever.
I got huge Skyward Sword vibes from this trailer.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that because I think Skyward Sword was a fantastic game. Everyone just bitched about it because they didn't know how to fucking calibrate their motion controls, but whatever. Dude, I'll never understand people's like, everyone just bitches and moans about how bad the motion controls, and the motion controls were great. And I was playing with
I didn't have any issues with the motion controls.
I had zero issues. And I was playing on like a shitty Gen 1 Wii remote with the Motion Plus enhancement, like strapped on, and a third party enhancement. It wasn't even the official Nintendo one. And I had zero problem with it. I calibrated it once, maybe had to calibrate it after like 2 hours of playing, and that's it. But everyone's bitching about, oh, it's unresponsive, it doesn't do anything I want it to. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you that you can't do this? Like, I want to know what people were doing here because it's not bad at all. And because of those complaints, who were complaining like, oh, it was too linear, it wasn't open enough, they kind of overcorrected with Breath of the Wild, and they made it so open. But by doing that, they took away the charm from the dungeons that I love, because I think Skyward Sword has some of the best dungeons in the whole series. And we go from that to what we saw in Breath of the Wild.
Skyward Sword did have some really good dungeons.
Some great dungeons. And there's some creative ways to do them. Like the Spirit Dungeon, the first dungeon you go to, you come back to that later and it's filled with water, so it becomes a water dungeon. Like on your next go around, it's totally different now. Like that's so cool. And not to mention that the area going up to it was kind of a mini dungeon too. Like there's so much cool stuff there that everyone just ignores, and it pisses me off. And Nintendo kind of took that to heart and like overcorrected with Breath of the Wild a little bit. So we got a great open world game, don't get me wrong, but the dungeons were just so boring and copy pasted designs. I didn't get like a huge theme of these dungeons like you did in the older games. So if they can just incorporate actual dungeon design into Tears of the Kingdom, we'd have a great fucking game here. But I mean, we'll see what happens with it. It's not set to come out until May 12th, so we still got a couple months. What do you guys think about it releasing for $70 though?
Nintendo tax out of control. Um, I still think it's ridiculous that people are releasing $70 games now as it is. Like I realize that that's going to be the standard, but it's currently not. So like there's still the majority of games are still $60. Nintendo has zero reason to charge 70 aside from their Nintendo, and they don't give a crap anyway.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the $70 game, but if they're gonna do a $70 game, they have to, the quality of the game has to increase. Like,
I agree.
I don't want these fucking broken messes. I don't want them riddled with microtransactions. I don't want, like, if I'm gonna get a $70 game, it's got to be the best game that you've ever released.
Yeah.
Like, I will pay for that if it's of quality.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think it's weird to charge $70 for it because the Switch games, let's be honest, Switch games don't have the same fidelity, don't have the same performance you get from like PS5 and Xbox Series S or the new Xbox Series X games. So to charge $70 when the prequel to that game was only 60, it rubs me the wrong way. If it had been a new system, they're like, hey, here's a Switch Pro. The games are going to be $70. I can get behind that. But to release $70 game when all your games have been 60 up to that point, that's something that crosses the line for me.
Yeah, but even fidelity, like good graphics don't make a good game. So
You're right.
Even if it like looked good, it could be the greatest looking game ever, but if it was trash, I'd be like, this is garbage. Like I would pay $300 if it was the greatest game ever created, like objectively, and I'd be like, yeah, it's $300, but you can't argue with how good the game is. Like, yeah,
but that's how it used to be, right? Like games were cut price with like how much work went into them. Like people forget this, but
yeah,
Earthbound released for like it was $100 when it first released.
yeah,
And that was like in 1990s money.
Yeah, well, yeah, everything back in those days were fucking outrageously priced, and there was no consistency either. Yeah, so
yeah,
just charge whatever you think it's worth, and let people be the judge.
Yeah,
of it.
let the market decide. Yeah, I like that. We'll see when it comes out. It's probably gonna be worth it because the first Breath of the Wild was polished so well. Like I didn't really have any issues with it when it dropped. So if they're gonna have the same consistency with the sequel,
and they also just get the focus on one version of the game because
Breath
of the Wild was also a Wii U game.
True, they don't have to make this work for another system. But this tells me too, though, that we need to see like a new Switch successor. Like I'm ready for a Switch Pro already, dude. Just do it already.
They're doing so much shit with the Switch, like them putting like I thought about this when they announced the Game Boy Advance stuff and the Game Boy stuff for the Switch. I like, okay, what are they gonna do when the new thing comes out? Are just gonna are we gonna get fucked again, or are we gonna be okay? And I don't know if they're ready to like make that transition yet. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Like I feel like they're getting grounded on the Switch for a while here. I'm not confident in them being able to make this transition to a new platform to where all of this shit is going to have to transfer over. They've not shown us that they could do that at all. So I'm just, I don't know if they can, I'm not confident they can do that. So,
yeah. No, I hear you. Like Nintendo, if they had to spread themselves thin, they fucking lose it.
yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see for now, like what we get with this, but I think I would love to see a Switch successor, but I am scared to see like how Nintendo handles like that transition.
Yeah.
We also got announced that a collector's edition of the game and Amiibo will also be releasing on launch day. So, go check that out. If you collect Amiibo, pick up some Tears of the Kingdom Amiibo.
I'm probably gonna get that collector's edition. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually don't, but I'm a Zelda fan, dude. I have to get that.
Yeah. I mean, I want to pick it up, but like, it's hard for me to justify buying that. Got a baby here now, so I look at that and I'm like,
oh
yeah, I got to spend my money on formula and diapers.
Yeah.
Did you see, because you're Switch Online also, did you see where you can actually, it's like with those game vouchers, you can actually.
Yeah, I've heard about that. That might be something cool to look into. I want to bring that up too.
Yeah.
So Switch has a program called their Switch voucher system. You pay $100, you get a voucher for 2 games. It's a list of games that they have.
Yeah.
Most of them are first party games. Others are just games on Switch.
But yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is on the list, so you could actually buy that a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, if you drop $100, you pick Tears of the Kingdom and like one other game you want.
Yeah,
pretty good.
So yeah, not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. Might be worth looking into. There are some caveats to it, like it's a digital game, so it's tied to your account. So you can't like get a buddy and be like, "Yo, let's take advantage of this voucher. I'll get Breath of the Wild. You get Breath of the Wild. We'll each pay $50 for it." No, it's tied to your account. You got to drop $100 to get 2 games. So if there's another game you're already looking at, you want to pick up, it might be worth to do it that way. And it's digital, so that's not going to work for a physical game, but it might be worth looking into if you're budget conscious like I am. I would have done that if I didn't already have like Xenoblade.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see if anything else comes out for it. I doubt that voucher's gonna be going away anytime soon, so might be worth looking into. Moving on to some Game Pass news, we got Madden NFL 23 dropping on Game Pass February 9th. SD Gundam Battle Alliance February 9th. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord February 14th. City Skylines Remastered February 15th. Shadow Warrior 3 February 16th. I'm definitely going to play that. Yeah. And Atomic Heart is dropping February 21st. I cannot fucking wait.
Yeah.
Atomic Heart looks so good.
It's on Game Pass. You can pre-install it.
Yep, it's on Game Pass February 21st. So, yeah, I'm pre-installing it. I'm definitely going to play that when that drops. Some quickie news. You got to look at, 404 game resets. Yoko Taro's new game.
Yeah.
Where Sega rules the world. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, it's a game where Sega rules the world, but they're not in a good way. They're the bad guys.
It's a fantasy game then.
Yeah, in this universe, Pizza Hut is like the king. So, but yeah, Sega rules the world, and they're like the bad guys though. So the whole point is like to try to destroy Sega, who are like the evil overlords of the world, which is cool. Like, I like when they can have a little fun with themselves and be like, no, we're the bad guys.
Is this like in the Neptunia universe then?
No, this is like, it's similar where they have human versions of Sega shit. Like, there's like an Outrun girl here, and like some Afterburner girls. So it's like similar in that way, where there's like personified.
They're like, they're personified, like anthropomorphic, like they're personifications of like video games.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Virtual cop girls. So, not a lot of info on it yet, other than it's like cast of characters. A mobile game? It's a mobile game. Yoko Taro is only making mobile games now.
So it's probably like a turn-based RPG then.
Not entirely. I mean, Yoko Taro did that. He did a Nier game for iOS, and it was an action game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think it might be like an action game, kind of similar to. It might be like what the fuck is it called? Genshin. I think it might be like a gacha game.
Yeah.
Where like you get all the girls in a like a loot box type of thing or some shit.
Mhm.
Wow, look at that! Look at that Akira. Is that Akira from Virtua Fighter,
Probably.
but in like girl form?
Most likely.
Yeah, interesting
Or
concepts.
maybe just like just a personification of Virtua Fighter, like as a whole, like the spirit of
as
Virtua
a
Fighter.
okay, yeah, interesting concepts. I don't like that they're on mobile. I would rather if there was
Oh,
like a
yeah.
full fat PC version. I would
Yeah.
like that, or just put it on consoles and mobile and
Yeah.
shit. You know, but because yeah, they put out like that Nier game on mobile, and I like installed it, but I don't want to play it like that. Like I want to, and it's
Yeah.
great. It's a fantastic game too. Like the soundtrack is incredible, but I can't play a game like that, dude. It's just not how I want to do it. But so
Yeah. So that's why, like, we'll see when it drops, like what it looks like. Maybe
yeah,
we'll check it out. Most likely not, though.
it's gonna be free to
But
play. They did say
yeah,
that, so.
so that'll be cool to see.
But I love Yoko Taro. I'll check out anything he does, but I don't know if it's gonna hold my attention on mobile. So
Oh, excuse me. We'll see whenever it comes out. Some other quickie news: Kingdom Hearts, the entire OST is available on streaming platforms, so that's great.
yeah,
If you wanted to get down on some Sanctuary, you could do that on your
Traverse
streaming
Town.
platform of choice. The
Traverse
Traverse Town, yeah.
was always like whenever I hear that music, I'm like, yeah, it puts me in the mood to play some Kingdom Hearts.
It's same. That's
It's
like I think Traverse Town is like the epitome of like Kingdom Hearts music.
Yeah,
Like it's got that like Square Enix like kind of grandiose to it, while at the same time that Disney like homely feeling in the music. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
yeah,
Like it's a great combination of like those two worlds that when I hear that brings you back to my childhood, makes me think of Kingdom Hearts and the fun I had with it. Yeah, so now you could do that on your streaming platform of choice.
I'm glad that these Disney has been so anti fucking streaming internet digital shit for a very long time. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that finally like Kingdom Hearts is getting these like digital releases, PC releases.
Yeah, dude.
It's been too fucking long, man. So I'm glad
It has. So it's cool to see it getting some recognition. I'm still not excited for Kingdom Hearts 4 because
Oh yeah,
that story for 3 was fucking garbage. I don't care what anyone says. The story for 3 fucking sucked.
Yeah, well, even what they've shown for 4 so far, I'm like, this is a Jurassic change, visually and just tonally for this game. So
yeah, that's why I'm not excited for it. And like,
yeah.
I'll check it out when it comes out. But as far as I'm concerned, Kingdom Hearts is done with 3. I don't have to play anything else. I only kept up with it because I've been playing the game since I was like a kid. So
I imagine they're gonna scrap whatever they've shown for 4 so far. I imagine they're gonna scrap it and start over. And
so
in true Square Enix fashion, that game is not gonna be at all what they've shown of it by the time you see it again.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see when it happens. I'm not going to pick it up. I'm not going to hold my breath that it's going to be a great game, but we'll see. Assassin's Creed Valhalla: Dawn of Ragnarok won the first Grammy Award for Best Score Soundtrack for a video game.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Which, like, what else came out that year that was like competing with?
Well, the other stuff that was nominated was like Aliens Fireteam Elite.
Ugh.
Which
Call of Duty.
Stop it. The game's fun.
Yeah, well,
Call of Duty,
as far as the soundtrack,
there's a Galaxy.
Yeah, as far as the soundtracks are concerned, there's actually the guys that do the soundtracks are very highly regarded. Like Austin Wintory did the soundtrack for that Aliens game, and Bear McCreary did Call of Duty Vanguard. So, despite what you thought about the game, the soundtracks might have been actually on point. Guardians of the Galaxy, Old World. So, and from what I remember about that Assassin's Creed soundtrack, it was like the soundtrack was pretty pretty damn
Everyone
good.
tells me it's hype. People tell me it's hype.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there we go. Like, it's cool to see that that's even like a category now. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Because
cool to see like video game music getting some recognition.
I mean, I would like to see even like cinematography or just like for like cinematography from the standpoint of like movie awards because they're like all these games are emulating Hollywood now to the point where it's just like not even it blurs the line. It's like, is this even a video game anymore? To the point where they just do a Last of Us TV show and it be shot for shot most of the time.
I will argue the Last of Us show changes enough from the game
Yeah.
that I'm gonna say something people aren't gonna like. So brace yourselves. It's gonna piss off some people. It's gonna ruffle some feathers, rustle some jimmies. But the story for Last of Us is better as a show than it is as a game. A lot better.
No, it
I
is.
would rather. Yeah. They changed enough of it. I don't know if you saw the last episode they released, but
Yeah.
fuck, it's incredible.
That was the best. Yeah, it was the best thing so far. I was like, oh my god, this is we've this is better.
Yeah, the stuff they changed to work in the show is just so much better. The backstory for these characters, because like minor spoiler, but if you played the game, it's not a spoiler really. But there's the new characters Henry and Sam who are like running away from some bad guys. In the game, they're like bandits. There's some random nameless bandits called the Hunters that just kill people for fun. In the show, there's like a whole backstory here for like Fedra and like a resistance movement that came up against them, and they're hunting down like people who collaborated with them. Like there's a whole like intrigue here that wasn't in the original game.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Okay, so you've caught up then because you haven't watched
I'm caught
it
up, yeah.
yeah.
I am caught up. I watched the whole show. I watched episode 3 because everyone tells me episode 3 is like fantastic, and it is. I fucking cried like a bitch. I'm not gonna lie. They changed Bill and Frank's story to something that's so much better than what the game did, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and this is what I mean. Remember how I was talking about Last of Us would be better as like a vignette series, just like little stories from The Last of Us here and there? They do that with this show by going back to like what these characters are doing. It's not just about like Joel and Ellie. It's about the whole world around them. So you get to see like backstory, what these characters are doing, what led up to like the decisions they made. So you get that kind of like, vignette storytelling to it.
Yeah.
Without like ruining like the main story for Joel and Ellie. And the stuff they changed, because now they don't have to focus on these two characters, they can make the side characters more interesting, is so much better than what the game did. I love that. I love it.
It's good.
Even little things, the way the characters interact, like, spoiler at the end of it, when Ellie's like trying to save him, she's like, my blood's medicine, and she like, tries to help this guy. That's not something she did in the game. But what makes it better is you get to see the kind of character Ellie is. Like, because in the game, she says, like, my white life's worth anything. It's worth this. And you already see that. She's already trying to help people with this thing she was born with, or this thing that she has. So you can already see, like, the choices she's going to make later about that her life is worth this cure. You're already seeing her with that mindset early on. It's so cool, like how well it characterizes everybody in the show that you couldn't see in the game, because in the game you also have to focus on the gameplay. So a lot of the story is held up by like shooting zombies and running around and actually playing it. And because it's not like, I don't want to say held back by that, but held back by that, you can focus on these characters and the stuff they have to do, the choice they need to make, and it tells a better story for it. Like, it's I'm sorry to derail it, but it's a better show than it was a game. Like, I'll be honest here. like what are you really losing when you take the game stuff out of it? You lose out on a third person shooter that's not as good as Gears of War, a stealth game that's not as good as Metal Gear Solid, a horror game that's not as good as Resident Evil. that just had a really good story. You just cut that out, you get the awesome story, and they make the story better. Like,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I know. Like a lot of people aren't gonna like that, but
I've been saying that for years, and people called me crazy. So, but
yeah, and I agreed with you because like the best part of Last of Us is the story. Like, don't fucking lie to me. It's like, oh well, the gameplay though. What does it do differently that other third-person shooters haven't done? Let's be honest here. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's a bad game. Like, it's still a good game. Like, the game's like an 8 out of 10 game, but the story's like a 10 out of 10 story.
yeah.
And that's all people think about. And then the show makes it even better.
I will say there were moments in the show that I thought the game did better. Specifically Tess's scene. I thought Tess's scene was better in the game. Like, I don't know. I just felt I remember I felt way more.
The acting, the acting is better in the game.
Yeah.
Because here's my argument for that scene, right? With the scene with Tess in the game, my favorite part in it is when Joel's like, show it to me. And she's like, no, he's like, show it to me. And then she shows it, and he's like, he breaks down for like a second. You see it. He's like, oh Christ. And like a little like tickling in his throat. You can hear he's about to like lose it. Then he like comes back. You don't get that in the show.
Yeah. Or like the part where she goes, oops, or like, I don't know, her like whole, everything was better.
The whole delivery was
scene.
way better. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what we get with this though, with this Tess in the show is more desperate. She's visibly more scared.
Yeah.
And because of that, she seems more vulnerable in this. Because like even in the game when she's infected, she's like in control.
Yeah.
Like she seems overwhelmed, but when she talks about it, it's like, this is a thing that happened. It's shitty. We got to move past it. You got to take care of this now. And in the show, it's like a desperate, like, this is happening to me. I'm gonna die. You got to carry this on so nobody else suffers like I did. And it comes from not from a place of like, it comes from a sense of desperation in her voice and the way she like acts it out. I will admit though that even though they're different, I did like the game way it handled a little bit better. But I did like what they did with this show because they made Tess more vulnerable. They made her more emotional.
Yeah.
They show that it's a scary experience, knowing that like you're gonna die and it's within like hours. It's a scary experience, and to see how they built it up this way, I did like it. I don't know if I liked it more in the game, but I appreciate what they did differently in the show.
Yeah. Okay, we said we wouldn't make this a Last of Us.
Yeah, we wouldn't make this a Last of Us podcast.
We do this every week, but
to be fair, I haven't watched the show yet until now, so this is my first time talking about it.
Yeah.
So hopefully I won't do this again, or we can just have a separate show that's just Last of Us if we wanted to.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
No, okay, good. Me neither. Moving on. Yeah, we still have a lot to talk about. Not a lot, but not a little either. Double Fines, Psych Odyssey, a deep documentary diving into the development of Psychonauts 2.
Yeah.
It's available on YouTube. You just watch it now.
They put this out like yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
Whole documentary series about the development process of Psychonauts 2, which was my game of the year for last year. Was that last year?
Yeah, they released it in full, like yesterday.
And
it's like 30 episodes. These episodes like 30 to 40 minutes long. Some episodes are like an hour.
Yeah. So, I love these. Well, they do have Amnesia Fortnite. The movie is from like a year ago, is in there, but the rest of them is just that's the only thing that's old. But yeah, I love Double Fine's. Like they do this like documentary stuff all the time. So
which is really cool to look into. Like if you want to see like what goes behind game development, especially like AA, not quite indie, but not quite AAA development. Like
their
really
Broken Age one. Their Broken Age one was really, really good. If you hadn't seen
it was. So. Yeah, I've seen the bits of it. It's really cool. just watching the process like happen, like it's really cool to see.
Yeah.
And because again, they're like a double A developer, they can have a little bit more care and attention and control that you don't get in a triple A game. So to see everyone that's working on it has a stake in the company, basically. So it's really cool to see them like these industry professionals talk about a project at a personal level, you know, so that they want to do.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating. It's fascinating to see.
Oh, you fucked up the doc.
Oh, I did fuck up the doc, my bad. New trailers and videos. Tekken 8 got a reveal trailer for Nina. God, Tekken 8 looks incredible, dude. Shit.
Yeah.
This is just visually very, very impressive. I really like what I'm looking at with this game.
I've never been a Tekken guy. I played the last one a little bit. And like, I don't know, there was one on PS3 that I played a lot only because my like friends had it and they would whoop my ass all the time with like one hand. They were like, you know how people fucking, they hold the controller weird? Like they hold the controller upside down just for Tekken. Like, I don't know, there's some like way of holding the controller that if you know, where fucking you hold the controller upside down and like you're a fucking god. Like it's like if you get in like a street fight with someone and they get into like a martial arts stance, you know you're about to get your ass whooped. That's what I feel about Tekken. Like if someone turns the controller upside down, I know I'm about to get fucked up. Like that's why I hate Tekken.
I've heard about that. It's like there's like a special like technique, like some slide canceling technique that like
Yeah.
it's apparently very hard to do in Tekken, but some people figure out a way to do it
Yeah.
consistently, but you gotta like hold the controller weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I heard about that, and that's why I never got into Tekken. Like it's too crazy for me.
Yeah.
I did play a little bit of the last Tekken game on PS4, and it was a lot of fun. I want to get into Tekken because it's like a good middle ground. I play a lot of 2D fighting games, and Tekken's a good middle ground from that. You know, it's not a.
Yeah.
It's a good middle ground for people who like want to transition from 2D to 3D fighting games. It's a good middle ground. And I like what I was seeing with this game. It looks incredible. It looks like a lot of fun. And I don't know if I'm going to pick it up day one, but I'm definitely going to pick it up eventually. Alien Hominid Invasion got a special sneak peek gameplay trailer. I didn't think Alien Hominid was still a thing, but here we are.
It is Behemoth. Their next game is a new Alien Hominid, which was their first game. Newgrounds, man. Like every time, this is like this style of game. This game specifically, very nostalgic for little young me, who spent a lot of time on Newgrounds. And played a lot of this, the Flash version of this, and then when they hit XBLA and shit, which where a lot of these games, like this game, like Meat Boy and shit, like that's where these games like popped off. It was like Newgrounds, and then
people forget like Alien Hominid came out before that too. It got a physical release on like GameCube and PS2, like way back in the day.
So like,
and oh yeah, you go.
These guys are just responsible for a lot of the indie pop off that happened during the XBLA era, and it's good to see they're still doing it, man. This game looks fucking awesome. Just a co-op, side-scrolling, shoot 'em up, beat 'em up, shoot 'em up. So
yeah, I'm into it. I can't wait to play that. Is the first Alien Hominid game on anything? Like, can I get it on
everything.
Switch?
I think I don't know about Switch, but it's definitely on like PlayStation Network and 360 and Steam and stuff. So
Alien Hominid HD is available on Xbox. Oh, it's on Steam too? Invasion's on Steam. Not the first one. I haven't played the first one in like years. I kind of want to play the first one again.
It's fucking difficult, man. Yeah.
It is. I remember it being hard as shit. It was like, it's like Contra.
Yeah.
But like more bullshit.
Yeah.
But no, that's happening, man. We got a gameplay look at it. Vampire Survivors is getting a Chaos update.
I love how successful this game is. just out of nowhere. You know, I don't necessarily agree with the I wouldn't consider this a game of the year contender by any stretch for me.
Yeah.
Even though I did play a lot of it, I just don't I consider it just a good time waster. I don't really consider it like a good
Even then, like I played 20 minutes till dawn and immediately
yeah.
dropped this when I played 20 minutes till dawn.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a bad game, but they're just it's not even the best game in its genre. Let's be honest
I
here.
played them because it's on Game Pass. I played on my phone, and I play it like when I have 5 minutes until I have to do something else. It's
How's
just
that,
like, what can I waste my time on for 5 minutes? Vampire Survivors.
how's that work?
And it's good for that.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're at work.
Well, like how's it work like streaming it? How's that how's that experience? Is this
It
a
works
game?
fine.
Okay.
Like, yeah, like it works fine. The only issue is like you're still at the mercy of like touchscreen controls, which, granted, Vampire Survivors is only one thing. It's just the stick, but
Yeah, yeah.
you just have to get used to that.
I know. I do
There's
think
a
they are.
mobile version of Vampire Survivor that's like decent.
Well, is that official? I don't know if they actually did that yet.
Yeah, it's an official version of it. It's free to
Okay.
download. It's a free to
Okay.
play game. And it changes the so you hold your phone portrait, right? And that's how you play the game. So already it feels a lot better because you're not holding it sideways. You're holding
I
it the
don't
way
like.
you're meant to hold the phone.
I don't like sideways games.
Yeah, so you're holding it like portrait, and it's one button still, but it's not that bad. Like it works pretty well.
I haven't watched this trailer, if like actually yet, but they spent a lot of time. I mean, the whole trailer is like them doing this and just zooming in on this for like a minute and a half.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
I'm wondering what is being said, if anything, during this, but I'm not gonna. Well, maybe I'll turn it up a little bit. Let's see here. Oh, nothing. It's just that, just that for a minute. Okay.
Yeah, kind of annoying. Yeah, call me when like 20 minutes till Don gets an update. Celeste Strawberry Jam got a release date trailer. It's a collaborative mod, right, for Celeste?
Yeah. Yes, it's a full-on just a Celeste mod that's been in development for 2 years. So, custom levels, custom soundtrack. Looks like it's gonna be really cool. I thoroughly enjoyed Celeste, so I'm excited.
Solid.
Yeah, very solid. I
I haven't
wish
played it yet.
I wish I went back and did some of the harder levels. Like you can pick up the cassettes, and it's like side A and side B levels. I didn't go back and do the side Bs. I tried like one of them, and I was like, this is difficult. I didn't try any of the other ones, but
I did the same thing when it was on Game Pass. Like I beat the side A campaign.
yeah.
Then I played like the first side B, and I was like, I'm gonna come back to this, and I never
yeah,
did.
yeah. So this mod is supposed to have a more better difficulty curve in terms of difficulty. So yeah, I'm excited.
It's
to
got
try
like
some.
5 difficulty levels too, so that's
Yeah.
like too much for you.
Yeah. So this looks solid, man. I'm excited I want to really try this out.
By the way, if you like Celeste, this what we were talking about earlier with the Messenger. If you haven't played that yet, it's very Celeste but with combat. So it's very like maze-like platforming, but at the same time, you're also attacking enemies and boss fights and stuff like that.
I can fuck with that. I love
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I realized I haven't tried the Messenger. I was thinking of something else when I was thinking of the Messenger. I actually haven't.
Yeah, it's
played
on
that.
Game Pass still, isn't it? Or am I making that up?
It was. I don't think it is anymore.
That's probably cheap enough now that you can just.
It's like 20
get it.
bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cheap enough. You can get it on whatever. What's I gonna say? Yep. So moving on, we got game releases. We got February 14th. We got Blanca releasing on PC and Switch. Journey to a Savage Planet, PS5 and Xbox Series X. Labyrinth of Galeria, The Moon Society, Souls of Kronos. What's this one? Spy Brothers? Never heard of this one.
Looks
Tomb Raider Reloaded on mobile? What is this?
That just got announced like last week too. It's very new.
It's like a twin stick shooter?
Honestly, I didn't even look at any gameplay once I saw mobile only. I was like, pass. All right.
yeah, it's a stick shooter.
Yeah.
I don't know. That
All
Lara
right.
Croft, those like Go games are pretty good. Like the Lara Croft Go and the Hitman Go.
It's not a Go game though.
It's not a Go game, but I wouldn't dismiss it just because it's on mobile. It could be pretty good.
Yeah. I just, like I said, like Vampire Survivors is basically the only thing I play on mobile, and that's because it's like, it's right there, and I have little to no time, and I know I can just burn time in that game.
Yeah.
But mobile games, just personal opinion, like that, they still haven't got me yet. Like, there's
That's
no like,
fine.
yeah, like if I'm at home, I'm playing on a console. If I'm at work, I'll break out Vampire Survivors for 5 seconds. But like, there's no killer app on mobile for me that's ever happened.
Yeah.
This Lara Croft game has bad reviews.
I'm not surprised.
3.5.
Did you see the images they have for the game? It's the same like 3 pictures over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they do that. That's actually common. I don't know why though.
I don't know why either. But whatever. This looks it doesn't look good. Oh well, moving on. Wanted Dead is releasing February 14th. This game looks actually pretty cool. It's from the Ninja Gaiden guys, right?
Stephanie Justin is in this game. She's the girl. She's the girl.
Yeah, Quiet.
I just learned about this game the other day, and I was like, what is this? This looks very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Devil's Third mixed with like Devil May Cry mixed with like Ninja Gaiden.
That's from the makers of Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive, but
so I was asking a buddy of mine about this. So is this like Itagaki's new studio?
I don't know. It's from Soleil Limited.
Okay. Because like when he split from Team Ninja and like went to go do his own thing, I was like, is this where he landed? Is this like Itagaki's thing now?
They did Valkyrie Elysium.
What's funny with this is if you're looking at the Steam, the Steam page for it, the About This Game section, the last 2 things like got me, the last 2 like bullet points here got me interested. It's beat 'em up the old school way, take down enemies, proceed further, revive the nostalgia and a modern twist on an established genre, and a love letter to the 6th generation of consoles.
What is the 6th generation again?
That's like PS2, GameCube, and Xbox.
Okay.
What did they say? Their official website or the publisher's website, it's like it basically it was like Cyberpunk meets something. And I was like, okay, what? Like I forgot what the other one was. I'd have to go to their website. I don't know. It's like wanted.
What's funny though is that like we kind of lost something when we moved out of like that generation of games because people just kind of made whatever the fuck they wanted, you know, and the PS2 kind of had the power to kind of back up most ideas.
Yeah, wantedgame.com is their website, and it's like on their main. It's like this is what happens when Ninja Gaiden meets Cyberpunk.
I'm okay with.
Itagaki's name is not anywhere on the studios.
It might not be him then, but yeah, it was just when I saw the, Ninja Gaiden.
It's definitely those guys. I mean, they have Devil's Third on here, so
yeah,
which I know Itagaki was on. I think
I'm definitely gonna play this game. Honestly, like,
yeah, this is going.
It's an old school like PS2 inspired like beat 'em up action game. Like, I miss games like that, dude.
God Hand is what I'm looking for.
I miss games when games are just like dumb fun, you know?
Yeah.
Like they're too commercial now to like ever do that again. Well, the indie scene's kind of hitting that up a little bit, but this looks cool. Like I'm gonna check this out.
This looks really
There's like
sick.
a 30-minute like dev led gameplay on YouTube that's like really cool. Yeah, I like what I'm looking at with this. I'm definitely gonna pick this game up. We got Returnal dropping on PC February 15th. Fucking finally.
Yeah.
Now I
I'm
can
excited
actually
that.
play it.
We got to co-op
Yes, for sure. Dust and Neon is dropping February 16th on PC and Switch. This looks cool. It's like a twin stick shooter. Yeah, looks pretty neat. Theatrhythm Final Bar Line for PS4 and Nintendo Switch. If you like those Theatrhythm Final Fantasy games, there you go.
that.
Got Rooftop Renegades dropping on PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. I actually heard about this game before. It looks decent.
Hoverblades.
Yeah. Settlers New Allies is dropping on PC February 17th. I've never heard of this game. It's a strategy game. That's probably why I never heard of it.
It's a Ubisoft like indie published game.
Oh, so there you go.
Yeah.
That's another reason I haven't heard of it. Tales of Symphonia Remastered is dropping on everything for Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. And finally, we got Wild Hearts dropping on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X February 17th.
Yeah.
It's that EA-led Koei Tecmo monster hunting game. That looks all right, but fuck EA. So
It's a $70 game too, so
and fuck EA. People seem to forget that. Fuck EA. They did a couple good things and I just forgave them. Like, what the fuck?
yeah.
Just because your boyfriend buys you flowers doesn't mean he doesn't beat you around when no one's looking. So just saying. Don't forget, fuck EA.
The game itself though looks, it's the closest that I think that anyone's come to actually doing the Monster Hunter thing and doing it right. As far as like it looks. There's been a lot of
Battlefront looked fantastic. It looked the closest we got to like an actual like, big scale Star Wars battle until the game released. So just saying.
Yeah, but they made good on that. I think they've turned
eventually.
it around. Yeah.
Eventually, I'm just saying, man. Everyone seems to forget. Like fuck EA. Like they released a couple good games. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
like,
but they've
Fallen
been
Order
doing better
good.
in recent times. They've been doing way better than mostly every other evil publisher. So
Right. Everybody hates like Ubisoft right now, but
yeah.
actually, I don't even think Ubisoft's getting any hate right now. But I don't know, man.
Did you guys cover and maybe this is 2 weeks ago or something? I think. Did you guys cover the email that Eve sent out to everybody?
No.
No, what email?
Well, I forgot.
So everybody's like all like screw Ubisoft right now, and it was because like they had a bad year, like they're not making enough money, and like the games aren't great quality and all that stuff.
Oh
and
yeah,
then,
was he like? Was it like he's like, hey, you guys
like,
gotta
you
do
all-
better? Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, it was like, so things are down, and you all, like everybody in the company, you all need to do better.
Yeah.
And it was like, you're the top of the company, bro. That's your responsibility.
Yeah. It's just like bullshit to me that these guys like a fucking like what 10% of the budget goes to like paying these assholes.
Yeah.
And they get like none of the fucking pushback when things go wrong. Like it's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's why like you can talk shit about Nintendo, but when the Wii U didn't sell well, like Iwata like cut his salary in half to pay everybody.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, like recently they just raised everybody's salaries. You see that?
Yeah, I did hear about that. They raised everybody's salary to like, even though they're having a pretty rough financial year too.
Yeah.
Yeah. They raised everyone's salary to like hold on to that talent, which is good to see. Like, you get like Twitter, who's like just firing everybody, and they realize like, oh, we don't have anyone here to like fix shit, so they're losing even more money now. They just kept everybody on.
Yeah, I've been on fuck Ubisoft for a while, but I think EA has been okay compared to like most everyone else. They've been doing all right, especially since they've seen the success that allowing Respawn to do whatever they want with Apex. They're like, oh, this is actually working. Why don't we, we're gonna give a little bit more freedom to these motherfuckers to.
That's true. And then the Dead Space remake was supposed to be like fantastic. So.
Yeah.
Well, so I was watching a buddy of mine go through that the other day. Again, big wuss on horror games, can't play on myself. Dead Space is a remake. It's like the same game. So if you it is a prettier version of the same game. So like
there's a lot of quality of life changes to it too. Like
but it's like if you play Dead Space, you're not going to get anything new out of this. It's like essentially it was just like, oh, this is like the same game. Got it. Okay. It's like, and that's so that was kind of a look out of me because I was hoping for, and I know this is a very like you love it or you hate it topic, but like when like RE2 remake and 3 make came out and they changed a few things here and there, so like it was like, oh, okay, I get it. This runs this way now, or this goes over, or they skipped this entire part of the game. No, Dead Space is literally like, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen in this game.
Well, I heard they added some shit to it too. So like, I saw some gameplay of it where they're like restoring power to like some parts of the Ishimura that weren't there before, and they showed off some parts. There's some other like puzzles that weren't in the original game before that looked really cool.
Okay.
And the zero gravity was completely changed around now too, because in the original game, the zero G was handled from like moving right from like one spot to another, like, but now you actually fly around like you did in Dead Space 2.
They did bring that into it. I'll say that it's just Dead Space was always like cool, but it was never like crazy outstanding fun to me, or to even just
disagree. I disagree. I think it's one of the best horror games to come out in a very long time.
No, it was good. Like I'm not saying like it wasn't Dead Space 3, but it was like, which was like hot garbage. But like 1 and 2 were both good games. Like I'm not saying they aren't. It's just I was expecting more out of this remake than what I get.
The problem too is that Dead Space 1 was already like kind of ahead of its time with how it handled its gameplay, how it handled its progression.
Right.
So there's not a lot of modern sensibilities you can like put on it to like change it up, other than like some quality of life stuff that were in the later games. And I'm into it. Like honestly, like, and graphically wise, like it's much better. Like I've seen
it is a super pretty game.
Much 100%. Better. Yeah.
It's I think. And I would say the gameplay alone, it's just making the obvious comparison. Just watching the gameplay, it's easily better than Callisto Protocol.
Yeah.
The problem is like the label remake, I think, just gets thrown on stuff that's not technically, I would consider a remake. Like Resident Evil, I would consider that a remake, or Final Fantasy VII, like that's a remake. Like when you're
or like
changing...
Yakuza Kiwami.
Yeah. But this is more of like, it's a remaster with some new stuff. Because it's
even then, it's like they made the game from the ground up too. It's not like they just put a coat of paint on it. Like a lot of work went into it. Like they made it from the ground up. They re-voiced everybody in the game. They redid all the environmental effects. There's a whole dev diary about like, oh, here's how breathing was like recorded for this game, and your character breathes differently if they're like injured or if they're like out of breath, or if they're choking. Like there's a whole like thing that they didn't have in the original game, just add more to the atmosphere. The problem is that the base game itself was so ahead of its time, there wasn't a lot they can do to like change it. It's not like Resident Evil 2 going from like tank controls to a third person shooting game. It's the same core game, just they had to remake it with newer content.
Yeah,
And
it's
you're
like,
right. That's where it gets tricky, like what a remake versus remaster looks like. Because The
it's
Last of
hard
Us is the
to
same thing.
when I think of a remake, I'm thinking, oh, we have the opportunity to build this game according to our original vision without any of the limitations we had at the time where we had to do it the first time. Because when you see all like the concept art that goes into the games, and then we had to cut a bunch of stuff because of time constraints or budget constraints, like that's what I'm thinking for a remake is like, oh, now we can incorporate all the stuff we had to cut, or all the stuff that we couldn't do, or all the stuff we envisioned that we couldn't do. We can actually incorporate that in our remake, because now we don't have those limitations. I like The Last of Us is like a good example of something in the middle ground where they did have limitations and they could overcome them on the new hardware, but it was more like technical limitations of like graphics and animation and frame rate and that kind of stuff. It wasn't so much like, oh, here's a segment we had to cut out because we couldn't do it, or here's an entire like mechanics we had to cut out, or here's a whole story beat we had to cut out, or I don't know. Like that's why I like Final Fantasy VII, where it was like, it feels like this is the way the game was envisioned from the start, but we couldn't actually do any of this because the PS1
I hear what you
was
mean.
so limited.
I hear what you mean, and that's where it gets tricky because, like, it can also be like, changing the original vision of the game too. Like, one people don't talk about is like, because Dead Space itself is so ahead, like, there's not a lot you can change to it gameplay wise, but also
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff under the hood of the Dead Space remake people like aren't talking about that was drastically different. Like, all the weapons have different alternative fires now. Nobody's talking about that. I don't know if you remember, but in Dead Space 1, you had the pulse rifle, the machine gun. You remember what the alternate fire was in that? Oh, you never played Dead Space, did you?
yeah, I never played.
Okay, so the alternate
but not
fire,
enough to, yeah.
the alternate fire, you hold the gun in the air and the barrels come out the side and it shoots in a 360-degree like movement around you. In the remake, they got rid of that and they changed it to like landmines you can like place everywhere.
Okay.
So every gun has a different alternate fire now.
So the guy who plays it for me, so I could watch, he literally only uses the plasma cutter throughout the entire game. That's
the best weapon in the game. Like, I'll be honest there.
Yeah,
the best weapon. I even heard the flamethrower like got some more love to it because it was fucking useless in the first game. Now I fucked up. I played the first Dead Space. I just wanted to use the plasma cutter because I was like, there's really nothing better that could do differently. I got the flamethrower as a backup weapon because like I figured like a flamethrower could be useful for things a plasma cutter can't be. No, it's a fucking useless gun that I should have never gotten. And because I got that gun, I never got the achievement for just using the plasma cutter for the whole game, which I didn't even know existed. So fuck that gun. But I hear it's like, I don't even think it's in the Dead Space remake, or if it is, it's like it's better. Like there's a lot of things they did to change it, like under the hood, that people aren't taking into account. And there's some story beats I take off from the original game too, that are different.
There is a not to do any spoils, but there you can Google this. There's a new alternate ending.
Yeah,
that, like basically you have to play New Game Plus and get like all these collectibles to get, and then apparently that like completely changes the stories about what like 2 and 3 could do.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's got me excited. So we'll see. And I mean, like, didn't Call of Duty just have a remake too? Like, didn't One More for Two just get a remake? And that's like,
yeah,
apparently, like that's like all the best parts of the game that everybody loves, but also like new shit.
The new shit is terrible in that game too.
It's you cut out a little bit. It's terrible.
Yeah, like I went through the campaign for Modern Warfare 1 and 2, like the remakes also, and it was like the new stuff they put into 2 is not that good.
I heard the opposite. I hear it's great, and the way 2 ends, a lot of people are like, I have no fucking clue where 3 is gonna go.
Oh no, yeah. They changed it to where they're just rewriting it now as they go. But like the new, so for instance, the thing that the new stuff they put in is this crafting system.
Oh yeah.
And like this has no purpose being in a Call of Duty game.
Oh, that's a bummer. I was talking like story elements. So,
What do you craft in Call of Duty?
well,
It's like-
the game, like you play like as like you play as like innocent people, right? Like caught in the war. Like you're not just playing like the big soldiers and the superpowers anymore. Like you're actually playing like some survivors. So I think that's where it gets implemented, right?
Oh,
No, it's literally like levels where something happens and your character, who's a soldier, not an actual, like not like a victim or anything like that. It's like, oh, hey, I lost all my guns. What do I do? And it's like, oh, go and find these things and make your own weapons.
Oh shit. Well, that sucks. Well, I hear
Yeah.
there's like a woman character and there's like a freedom fighter, right? Or like
She was also in Modern Warfare 1, so she's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, she's like new. Like her thing, I thought like she had all the crafting stuff. Am I wrong on that?
In the honestly, I don't remember the first one that well. I remember it was like a sniper level, but that's it. But in 2, she's in it like as a side character. I don't think you play as her in this one, but it's like she comes back, which is great because her character was awesome. But like, yeah, in these 2 sections of the game, it's just like you have to craft like explosives and distraction things and like get around all of these enemies, and it's like, hey, this one guy's by himself. How about I just kill him and take his gun? And it's like, no, you can't do that. You have to craft something.
Oh well, that sucks.
Yeah, it was so dumb.
Oh, that sucks. So yeah, with the argument like remakes versus remasters, like there's a lot of things that can go into a remake. I mean, if we define remake as like, oh, so that's made from the ground up, you can argue like the Last of Us remake was the same thing, but that doesn't feel like a remake at all. Even though they said they remade it from the ground up, I don't believe them. I don't believe that at all.
yeah. I've been watching this Wild Hearts gameplay, dude, and I'm probably gonna buy this.
I'll wait till you play it, and then we'll see how it is, and if it's
Okay.
good,
I mean, I'll wait for reviews, but I
Yeah.
don't think this is probably not gonna disappoint. I think.
I can wait a year until it's on Game Pass with
Game
EA.
Pass. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You know what? With EA Play, Game Pass comes with that EA Play. You can like play a game for like 4 hours, I think, for free.
So that'll be cool. I can try it before I buy it.
They're that with Need for Speed. So
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for the show, everybody. This has been good. I had a lot of fun. Thank you, Clay, for coming in, man.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Always appreciate it.
yeah.
Yeah, man, for sure. This has been fun. You guys can catch us up next week. Sabi, man, tell people where they can find us.
Guys, you can go to Gameoverse.com. You can go to Gameoverse.com/Twitch. You can go to Gameoverse.com/YouTube. You can go to Gameoverse.com/Discord and hang out with us and chat with us and talk about video games with us and play video games with us and do stuff. with video games.
Gameoverse.com/Rinster.
Yeah. Where does that go?
This goes to a webpage that says seriously, bro.
You can also find us on OnlyFans. You want to see
There you
pictures
go.
of
There you
Sabi's butthole?
Yeah. Join
He sells them
my
for $10 a picture.
find me on Feet Finder.
This has been fun, everybody. Hit us up on the Discord. We love chatting with you guys. We don't always respond immediately, but we always respond on the Discord. So come hit us up, everyone. Go out, be safe, be excellent to each other.